Welcome to Fantasy Audiobook, or a Revival, Awakening the God-Killing Spear at the Beginning. Chapter 61. Just as Chu Yi was fighting the tide of alien beasts, an uneasy feeling enveloped his heart, as if it foreshadowed an ominous arrival. What's going on? I've never had this strange feeling before. Chu Yi frowned, filled with doubts. Suddenly, an extremely strong aura hit Chu Yi, like a stormy sea. Chu Yi watched helplessly as a man appeared in front of him, with two pairs of huge black dragon wings on his back. This was the rank 9 beast incarnation. For an instant, time seemed to stand still. With a muffled sound of bang, Chu Yi was punched away by this middle-aged man who had transformed into a rank 9 beast. The power of this punch was too strong. Chu Yi's internal organs were all seriously injured at this moment, and he spat out a mouthful. Blood. Ah, it hurts. Chu Yi's face was distorted by pain, and he felt a sharp pain sweeping through his body. How is it possible? Even the rank 9 beast cannot be so strong. The power of this punch can kill ordinary rank 9 superpowers instantly. Fortunately, Chu Yi had the vitality of the Tree of Origin, and his own vitality was also very strong, so he barely managed to save his life. Otherwise, this punch could directly cause Chu Yi to be seriously injured or even die. Rank 9 alien beasts take shape, so terrifying. Chu Yi endured the severe pain all over his body and said through gritted teeth, "You are the rank 9 beast incarnation. Why do you do this?" The middle-aged man said confidently, "Yes, I am the transformed beast of rank 9. You can call me the Black Dragon King." Chu Yi sneered disdainfully. It's ridiculous that a mere Western dragon dares to call itself the Dragon King. At this moment, Anna also discovered this scene, quickly flew to Chu Yi's side, and asked anxiously, "Are you okay, Chu Yi?" Chu Yi faced Anna and said in a solemn tone, "Go and stop the tide of alien beasts, I will deal with it here." Anna nodded. She knew at this moment that she was no match for this rank 9 beast. "Okay, be careful." She turned into a stream of light and returned to the battlefield. The man who called himself the Black Dragon King sneered and said, "Chu Yi, are you ready to leave your last words?" Chu Yi spoke again. "Black Dragon King, right. Can you tell me why you want to kill me? Let me die and understand." He originally planned to delay time and wait for himself to recover before making plans, but the words were not spoken. Fall. The Black Dragon King laughed, and in an instant, he rushed towards Chu Yi, so fast that Chu Yi had no time to react. In the blink of an eye, there was another muffled bang sound, and the terrifying power caused Chu Yi to be hit hard again. The Black Dragon King said sarcastically, "You want to delay time. Do you think I'm stupid? You can say your last words, but you can't ask questions." Bang bang bang. The Black Dragon King's fists kept hitting Chu Yi's body, and Chu Yi was seriously injured at this moment. The Black Dragon King, a rank 9 beast, is too powerful. At this moment, Chu Yi was lying on the ground motionless. The 5 clones had disappeared without the support of Chu Yi's body. The alien beasts on the battlefield were running madly towards the direction of the Bear Kingdom. At this time, Anna's eyes swept across the scene in front of her. During this day of fighting side by side, they had formed a deep friendship and discovered the dilemma in front of Chu Yi. She felt very uncomfortable and her eyes were slightly red. "Fighters, have you seen it? That is Chu Yi from the Dragon Kingdom who came to help us. He is now facing a powerful enemy that cannot be defeated. We must support him." She turned to the middle and low-level people behind her without hesitation. The super warrior shouted loudly. When these middle and low-level Bear Country superpowers heard Anna's call, they were immediately inspired with fanatical courage. They rushed towards the group of ferocious alien beasts and the Black Dragon King without hesitation. There was chaos on the battlefield. A group of human ants dared to take action against me. They are really overestimating their capabilities. The Black Dragon King looked down upon the group of middle and low-level superpowers, and they rushed towards him like a swarm of ants. "For the brothers of the Dragon Kingdom, we must fight for time." The middle and low-level superpowers gritted their teeth. "Kill. Save our brothers." They waved their weapons and roared. The Black Dragon King snorted disdainfully, and instantly transformed into a huge and terrifying Western black dragon. Its black wings were huge, and when spread out, they covered the sky and cast a shadow. Ouch! Suddenly, the black dragon opened its huge mouthparts and let out a terrifying black dragon breath. This breath swept forward like a black wind, completely enveloping these low-level superpowers in the Bear Kingdom. Anna discovered the rare opportunity, instantly approached Chuyi, hugged him tightly in her arms, and without hesitation, instantly turned into a stream of light and flew towards the back. Her light power was used to its extreme, and her speed was so fast that people couldn't believe their eyes. When the Black Dragon King saw Chuyi being rescued, he immediately spread his black dragon wings and quickly chased in their direction. Anna, let me down. This Black Dragon King is too strong. This is the most powerful beast I have ever encountered. Chuyi fell into Anna's arms in pain, and mouthfuls of blood spurted out mercilessly. Even if you have the fastest light attribute power in the world, we can't escape if you hold me. Anna's tears blurred her vision, and she said anxiously, don't say such things, I will never give up on you. No matter what, I will take you to escape. Chuyi lay weakly in Anna's arms, sighed, and said, why are you doing this? We have only known each other for a day. You let me down. With your speed, you can escape. Anna's eyes instantly filled with crystal tears, but her voice was firm and powerful, I will never give up on you. Although we only knew each other for one day, in this short time, we faced it together danger, you have now become my closest comrade in arms. A deep throbbing surged in her heart, and she was not even aware of it. The Black Dragon King chasing behind roared, two human ants. Are you still trying to escape? Don't even think about running away. Chuyi, who was in Anna's arms, had now regained his ability to move. He instantly activated the Kunpeng armor and broke away from Anna's arms. Anna, leave quickly. Its target is me. Chuyi stood resolutely in front of the Black Dragon, the distance shortened to only 10 seconds left. Anna saw this and shouted loudly, no, Chuyi. Come with me quickly. Chuyi. Chuyi said firmly, no, you go first. It's better to die one person than two people. Anyway, I died once in my previous life. I am lucky to live another life now. Ha ha, he thought in his heart, with a firm light shining in his eyes. Since ancient times, no one has ever died. I am smiling to the sky with my spear. Chuyi looked up to the sky and roared, and the god-killing spear instantly transformed and rushed towards the Black Dragon King for a fight to the death. Human ants, how dare you resist? The Black Dragon King's roar was as shocking as thunder. Its voice was harsh and majestic, as if it was a demon roaring from the depths of hell. Ouch! Suddenly, the Black Dragon opened its huge mouth and let out a shocking roar, the Black Dragon roars. Suddenly, an extremely powerful force of destruction spurted out from the Black Dragon's mouth, forming a black streak. The light waves shot towards Chuyi at great speed. Come on, just a black lizard. Chuyi dragged his seriously injured body and held the god-killing gun tightly, his eyes flashing with determination, Ice and Thunder's secret, god-killing arrow. In an instant, the power of ice and thunder in Chuyi's hand transformed into a gorgeous ice and thunder bow. He gently placed the god-killing spear on the ice bow. The power of ice and thunder and the god-killing spear merged with each other in an instant, forming a terrifying god-killing arrow. With a whoosh sound, the ice thunder arrow shot out instantly, like a black-blue lightning, violently colliding with the light wave of destruction in the air, like two violent forces intertwining violently on the battlefield. However, the god-killing arrow only lasted for 5 seconds before it was mercilessly engulfed by black light waves and shot towards Chuyi at extremely high speed. How is it possible? Chuyi was extremely shocked. The strength of this Black Dragon King is really too powerful. In an instant, Chuyi's entire body was submerged by black light waves. This force of destruction continued to erode his body. The Kunpeng armor burned with spiritual energy to compete with the force of destruction. At this moment, in the Guardian space, Xiaoxi's voice echoed in Chuyi's mind, Chuyi, this destructive force is too powerful. It is almost impossible to maintain the Kunpeng form now. Chuyi clenched his fists and asked with determination, Little shark, how long can you hold on? Xiaoxia said in a deep voice, hold on for 2 more minutes at most. However, Anna came to Chuyi instantly, held his hand tightly, and fled the scene into a stream of light. Chuyi, let's go quickly. She shouted hurriedly, her voice revealing urgency and determination. Still want to run away? You stupid humans. The Black Dragon King roared again, Black Dragon roars. The waves of destruction hit Anna and Chuyi again. Chuyi immediately realized the danger and pushed Anna away instantly. Chu-yi suffered the impact of the destructive light wave again, and the destructive power mercilessly swallowed Chu-yi. The kunpeng armor on his body instantly collapsed, like a blooming flower that withered in an instant. Chu-yi's life breath was gradually swallowed up by destruction, like a weak candlelight gradually extinguished in the darkness. All this happened too fast and passed by in an instant. When Anna saw all this, it was already too late. She yelled at the top of her lungs, "Chu-yi, no!" Her voice was full of despair and powerlessness. She came to Chu-yi in an instant, stared at the lifeless eyes, and felt an indescribable sorrow in her heart. She held Chu-yi in her arms without hesitation and flew towards the capital of the Bear Country at high speed. "Chu-yi, hold on, I'll take you to the capital of the Bear Country, where there are the best medical superpowers." Her voice was full of determination. Anna's body was burning with energy at this moment, turning into a dazzling light out of thin air, transforming into a stream of light, and instantly escaped from the Black Dragon's pursuit. The speed of light has reached its extreme speed, as if the space has been torn apart by her. "HMPH, I'll let you go this time, light human." Upon seeing this, the Black Dragon stopped chasing. After all, Chu-yi is dead and its mission has been successfully completed. Not long after, inside the capital of Bear Country, the atmosphere in the office of the great emperor of the Bear Country was tense and depressing. A middle-aged man exuded a powerful aura, highlighting his ruler style. He was the great emperor of the Bear Country. Anna stood anxiously in front of the middle-aged man, her voice full of anxiety and uneasiness. "Father, please save Chu-yi." The great emperor of the Bear Kingdom sighed deeply and said, "Daughter, why are you doing this? You brought a dead man to me, but you hope that I can resurrect him." Anna's eyes were firm and she continued unwaveringly, "Anlia is our Bear Country's medical superpower. She is absolutely capable of saving Chu-yi. Father, I beg you. Alas, you go find her, but you must be mentally prepared. Chu-yi is dead." The great emperor of the Shang Kingdom sighed deeply, and then slowly said, "Also, the beast tides, you don't have to worry about it, I've sent others to guard it." An hour passed in a hurry, and Chu-yi was sent to a ward full of technology. His body was lying on the bed, and various medical tubes were inserted into his body, which made people's hair stand on end. Among them, a blonde female doctor stood there, wearing a white coat. Her figure was curvy and exuded a unique charm. She was Anlia, a superpower with extraordinary medical abilities. Anna stared at Anlia anxiously, her eyes full of anxiety and uneasiness. She asked eagerly, "Anlia, do you know how Chu-yi's situation is? What happened to him?" Anlia stared at her, feeling the anxiety in her heart, nodded slightly, and shook her head slightly. "Speak quickly. What happened to Chu-yi? Why hasn't he woke up yet?" Anna felt that her heart was about to jump out, and she became impatient. Anlia thought for a moment, took a deep breath, and said, "His situation is very complicated. I don't know how to describe it, but I think it's better not to say it." "What the hell are you trying to do? Say it quickly." Anna was almost going crazy with anxiety, her voice was full of anxiety and impatience. Anlia looked at Anna. She knew that she could no longer hesitate, so she sighed and said, "Well, since you are so eager, I will tell you that Chu-yi is dead now, but at the same time he is not dead either." Anna was a little angry at the moment. Who could understand this? "Anlia, speak human words to me." Her voice suddenly became cold. "Miss An, Chu-yi's current situation is very special. His body functions have stopped, but his soul still exists. He seems to be in a blurry state on the edge of life and death. It is not an exaggeration to say that he is half dead and half alive." Anlia stared at Anna closely and noticed her anger. She immediately adjusted her attitude and her tone became serious. "In layman's terms, his body is dead, but his soul is not dead." "Then, can we still save him?" Anna asked, her eyes showing a mixture of determination and worry. "Under normal circumstances, as long as enough life force is injected into him, he can be saved." Anlia sighed softly. The expression on her face looked heavy and tired. "However, Chu-yi's situation is too special." "What's so special about it?" Anna's heart suddenly rose to her throat. "You may not be able to understand that this is the first time I have encountered such a situation." Anlia took a deep breath, her eyes flashing with unspeakable complex emotions. "Normally speaking, the injection of life into this situation is enough to awaken a person. Human. However, Chu Yi is different. His soul seems to have lost its desire for life. To put it simply, Chu Yi seems to be unwilling to live even by himself. Quote. Anna stared at Anlia anxiously, her eyes filled with unquestionable expectation. Can you save him? Is there a glimmer of hope? There was a hint of uneasiness and longing in her voice. Anlia was silently immersed in thinking, her brows slightly furrowed and her eyes staring into the distance. She took a deep breath and finally gave her answer. The answer to this question does not depend on us, but on his own soul. There was a deep wisdom and endless possibility in her voice. At this moment, in Chu Yi's soul space, he was lying lazily, motionless, as if he had no intention of getting up. Chu Yi stared at the god-killing gun soul in front of him and couldn't help but asked in surprise, Senior Gun Soul, why are you here? The god-killing gun soul was wearing a black robe, with thick black hair hanging on his shoulders like a waterfall. His eyes were deep and flickering, and he said lightly, Chu Yi, are you really not going to get up? Chu Yi sighed helplessly and said, that's it. Let me rest for a while. The tone of the god-killing gun soul became serious and he said, do you understand? If you lie here all the time, you will truly die. Chu Yi smiled bitterly and replied, oh, then let me die, living is more terrifying. The god-killing spear spirit frowned slightly and asked, are you escaping from reality? Chu Yi nodded feebly and said, yes, I admit that I am too weak. This failure almost cost me my life. The god-killing spear soul said in a deep voice, but you are not dead yet, you are the owner of the god-killing spear. Chu Yi said bitterly, so what? Even if I have the god-killing spear, I still can't resist such a powerful enemy. The god-killing spear soul looked at Chu Yi affectionately and said, where is your dream? Where is world peace? The war is still going on, do you really want to give up? Chu Yi replied weakly, I can't even defeat a small western black dragon, so why talk about world peace? I'm just a weak person. The god-killing spear soul said calmly, do you know why the human race is the most powerful among all races? Chu Yi asked doubtfully, why? The god-killing spear soul smiled and explained, because the human race is the race with the most potential, and you, Chu Yi, especially so. The god-killing gun spirit continued to enlighten, think about your dream. You still have students from Yonjing College, and you still have friends. Do you really want to give up like this? Chu Yi asked hesitantly, then what should I do now? After careful consideration, the god-killing spear soul slowly explained, you are now pursuing death with all your heart. Even if there is still a trace of life left in your body, you cannot recover. In fact, all this depends on yourself and your inner feelings. The desire for life, do you desire to live? In addition, every time you experience the test of life and death, it will make you stronger. This is an opportunity for you to experience it in the future. Chu Yi seemed to understand a little. He recalled the people who lived a difficult life in the wasteland. They lived an uncertain life every day and faced life dangers all the time. They shouldn't be treated like this, and the world shouldn't be so dark. Everyone has the right to pursue happiness. At this moment, Chu Yi's fighting spirit was ignited again. He decided to change, he wanted to completely change the world. At this moment, in the ward, Anna and Anlia's voices were full of anger and anxiety. Anna gritted her teeth and said, Anlia, as the top medical superpower in the Bear Kingdom, how could you not be able to save Chu Yi? Anlia replied bitterly, I really tried my best. He has lost the will to live, does he still want me? Anna said angrily, no matter what, you are a doctor and you have the responsibility to save him. Anlia responded helplessly, even if you kill me, there is nothing I can do. I have tried my best. Where am I? Why am I in the hospital bed? Chu Yi slowly opened his eyes and found himself lying on an unfamiliar hospital bed. What is this? His eyes fell on the various medical tubes inserted into his body, which made his scalp numb. He hurriedly reached out and pulled off these tubes. Seeing Anna arguing fiercely with a strange woman, Chu Yi couldn't help but asked impatiently, what happened? Anlia was stunned for a moment, then said in shock, you're actually awake. How is this possible? It's simply unbelievable. Great, Chu Yi, you finally woke up. Anlia, you quack, don't you think Chu Yi is already awake? Anna shouted excitedly. Anlia said angrily, Anna, don't go too far. Anna ignored Anlia's words, quickly ran to Chu Yi's hospital bed, and asked nervously, "Chu Yi, how do you feel now?" Chu Yi blinked and said, "I feel good now, but where am I?" Anna quickly explained, "You are in my medical room, what's wrong?" Chu Yi asked with some confusion, "Am I really at your house?" Anna nodded and said, "Yes. Is there any problem?" After thinking for a while, Chu Yi said, "How is the situation with the beast tide?" Anna smiled slightly, waved her hand, and said, "Don't worry, my father has already sent people to guard the beast tide." At this moment, Lena ignored Anna, walked slowly to Chu Yi, and asked, "I am a doctor, how do you feel now?" "I feel good now, thank you," Chu Yi said. "Well, with your physical strength, now that you're awake, there's nothing wrong with me." And Lena nodded after hearing this, then hurriedly turned and left. At this time, Chu Yi suddenly stood up and said firmly, "I plan to leave." "Thank you very much for saving me, Anna." Anna asked with some confusion, "You want to leave? Did you just wake up and leave in such a hurry?" Chu Yi said firmly, "I still have a very important thing to do." Anna thought for a while and said with concern in her eyes, "Then you should at least rest for a while. You can rest at my house. It's very safe here." "Okay, sorry to bother you, Anna." Chu Yi nodded, thinking in his mind that he could indeed refine the 5 cores here before leaving. Anna smiled and said, "I won't disturb you." After a while, Anna arranged a spacious and bright room for Chu Yi. At this moment, in the room, Chu Yi sat cross-legged on the ground and focused on checking his physical condition. He could feel that the tree of origin was continuously transferring vitality to him, allowing his body to recover faster. After this life and death trial, he felt that his aura capacity was constantly expanding, and his soul power became more powerful. The god-killing spear in Chu Yi's hand seemed to be transformed. He stared at the weapon and found that it was more delicate than before. The handle of the gun was engraved with lines, each one as thin as a hair, exuding a faint evil aura. This god-killing spear is actually more powerful than before. Could it be because of the enhanced soul power? Chu Yi's eyes widened, and he felt a burst of surprise in his heart. However, Chu Yi's realm is still stagnant, and he has been unable to break through from rank 6 to rank 7. He previously thought that he only needed to continue killing to advance and awaken his secondary powers. But now he is gradually beginning to doubt this. This time, after a day and night of slaughtering alien beasts, he still cannot enter the realm of rank 7. How can we break through rank 7? Chu Yi frowned, her eyes deep and thoughtful. Chu Yi shook his head and no longer thought about the breakthrough. He said to himself, "The most important thing right now is to refine the 5 energy cores first. I don't know how long this refining will take. Last time it took a whole day to refine the Thunder Core in Lingquan. You must know that Lingquan's cultivation speed is 100 times or even higher than that of the outside world." Chu Yi closed his eyes tightly, took a deep breath, and activated the primordial origin Wuji Kung Fu. He could feel the existence of the first energy core, which was the soul energy core. This was Chu Yi's first time refining the core of the soul system. Gradually, the soul contained in the core began to seep into Chu Yi's body, integrating into his soul as quietly as fine water. Time passes quietly, and a day passes quietly. Chu Yi is still concentrating on absorbing the power of the soul core. This process is so slow that it is almost imperceptible, absorbing only 1% of the energy. However, at this moment, something strange happened. Next to the god-killing spear in Chu Yi's body, a simple black long sword appeared. The long sword exudes a deep black light, like twinkling stars in the night, which is both gorgeous and full of mystery. If you observe carefully, you can actually see that it has subtle similarities with the patterns on the god-killing spear, as if it is a pair of twin brothers in the universe. Could this be? Chu Yi couldn't help but be shocked. A hint of surprise flashed in his eyes. It can actually swallow soul weapons directly, and the god-killing spear also sublimated it. His voice was full of surprise. A hint of excitement. Soul System God-Killing Sword. Great. From now on, you will be called the God-Killing Sword. The long black sword appeared instantly. The God-Killing Sword exuded an evil aura similar to that of the God-Killing Spear in his hand, as if surrounded by the breath of death. On the sword body. If my guess is correct, as the soul core is continuously absorbed, the power of the God-Killing Spear and the God-Killing Sword will increase simultaneously. His eyes were shining with excitement, as if he saw endless possibilities. Black Dragon King. Just wait, sooner or later, I will trample you under my feet. Chu Yi's sharp eyes were like a sharp sword. Dong dong dong. At this moment, there was a slight knock on the door, breaking the tranquility of Chu Yi's practice. Chu Yi raised his head and looked out the door doubtfully. Who is it? His voice came through the crack of the door. It's me, Chu Yi, open the door quickly. Anna's voice came from outside the door. Chu Yi quickly walked to the door, opened it, and faced Anna's smile. He asked curiously, "What's the matter, Anna?" Anna looked at Chu Yi, shook her head slightly, and said, "I'm fine, but my father wants to see you." There was a hint of indescribable emotion in her voice. Chu Yi was shocked when he heard this. He didn't expect Anna's father to want to see him, so he couldn't help but ask, "Okay, when does your father plan to see me?" Anna looked at Chu Yi helplessly, with a slightly helpless tone, and said, "My father just told me that he wants you to go to the capital to find him when you are free." Chu Yi had no expression on his face and responded calmly, "Okay, I'll go now." His words were calm, without any emotional fluctuations. A long while later, in the great emperor's office in the capital of the Bear Kingdom, Chu Yi stared at the man in front of him. He never thought that Anna's father would be the great emperor of the Bear Country, which Chu Yi did not expect. Chu Yi felt the aura of the great emperor of the Bear Kingdom, and it seemed that he was also a very powerful rank 9 superpower. Chu Yi, I know your deeds. You were the one who massacred 2 million people of the Japanese country. The Japanese people call you the god of killing. The whole world knows that you are the most brutal criminal. The great emperor of the Shang Kingdom spoke first, with an extremely serious tone. Turning Chu Yi's details inside out, you are still a member of the Phoenix Group of the Dragon Kingdom's special force of superpowers. You have such strength at a young age. To be honest, I admire you very much. The eyes of the great emperor of the Bear Kingdom suddenly became sharp, and he said extremely seriously, "However, I hope you can keep your distance from my daughter, because being with you will bring her great danger." So, he is worried that I will have a too close relationship with his daughter, which will put Anna in danger. After all, I am now surrounded by enemies. Chu Yi understood clearly. Chu Yi nodded calmly and said, "Great Emperor, I understand your worries." The great emperor of Shang Kingdom nodded slightly, looked at Chu Yi with eyes, and said with a hint of apology in his voice, "Chu Yi, I really appreciate you, but I'm sorry, I can't put my daughter in danger." "I understand. I will leave immediately." Chu Yi nodded, and as soon as he finished speaking, he turned around and left without stopping. He had something very important to do, and he didn't plan to stay too long. Not long after, I saw a huge rock in the sky at Chu Yi's feet. It spread its wings and flew high, and with a loud rock call, it took him into the sky in an instant. This scene is like the blending of heaven and earth, which makes people's hearts surge. The rock soared in the sky and headed straight for its southern destination, leaving behind a magnificent silhouette. Ha 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 ha, there will be strong winds and waves, and the clouds and sails will rise to the sea. Chu Yi raised his arms high and stared at the sky firmly. His voice echoed in the sky, "Little shark, let's move forward together towards our dreams. Come on, Antarctic hell, Chu Yi, are here." That's right, Chu Yi decided to go to the Antarctic hell of fire to practice. On this planet, the Arctic is a land of ice, while Antarctica is even more terrifying. It is called the Antarctic hell. A place that can be named after a hell, you can imagine the horror. The Antarctic hellfire is even more dangerous than the Arctic ice. At this moment, the atmosphere in the great emperor's office in the capital of Bear Country was tense and depressing. Anna asked emotionally, "Father, you have gone too far. You drove Chu Yi away. Why?" The great emperor of the Shang Kingdom replied with a stern face, "Daughter, don't ask any more about this matter. You'd better not get too close to him." "No, I'm going to find Chu Yi." Anna's eyes flashed with determination. With a pop sound, the great emperor of the Shang Kingdom slapped the table angrily. "Do you know who Chu Yi is? You must not get too close to him." Anna responded unyieldingly, "He just killed 2 million Japanese people. When the Japanese people die, they die. What's the big deal? I'm going to find him." Chu Yi killed Adam of the International Superpower Organization, Lucia of the Eagle Federation, and Bei Jinju, the vice president of the Japanese Heavenly Sovereign Association, Yasnaya of the United States Congress, and kilograms in the presidential palace of the United States. The great emperor of the Bear Country looked extremely sternly, staring at Anna, and continued to shout sternly, "These 5 people are all rank 9 superpowers. Although they are not the strongest, they are all from these forces. Important member. Let's not talk about Japan for now, but the International Organization of Superpowers, the U.S. Congress, the U.S. Presidential Office, and the Eagle Federation will definitely retaliate crazily against Chu-Yi. My daughter, you will die if you are around him," Anna said firmly. "So what? This can only prove that Chu-Yi is powerful. I believe in him. He is very powerful." The great emperor of the Bear Kingdom shook his head, and without saying a word, he instantly activated his powerful abilities. A black aura chain quickly passed through the air like lightning and penetrated into Anna's body without mercy, sealing her superpowers. Anna's eyes widened and she looked at her father in surprise. "Father, what are you going to do?" There was a hint of uneasiness in her voice. The great emperor of the Shang Kingdom said in a deep voice, "Daughter, I know you too well. For your safety, I have to do this. You are not allowed to approach Chu-Yi during this period." Chu-Yi stood on the rock and soared towards the Antarctic hell of fire. An hour later, he had arrived at the outskirts of the Antarctic hell. I saw a heat wave rolling in here, and even in the periphery, the temperature had reached a terrifying level. Looking from a distance, the terrifying volcanic peaks were erupting like devils with blazing lava, and the red light of the flames illuminated the entire sky. The huge crater exudes monstrous heat waves and a suffocating smell of sulfur, like the roar of a giant beast. Chu-Yi was shocked and said to himself, "Is this the outskirts of the Antarctic hell of fire? It's so hot on the periphery, if it's the core area." When he stepped into the depths of the Antarctic hell of fire, the hot breath hit him, and he felt a sharp rise in temperature. The blazing flames seemed to swallow him whole, but Chu-Yi sat as firmly as a mountain, cross-legged, and began to absorb the power of the core of the flames. Primordial origin Wujikong was running rapidly in his body, and a pale golden flame gradually merged into Chu-Yi's body. With the high-temperature environment of the Antarctic hell, the absorption speed was surprisingly fast. At this moment, suddenly, a flaming humanoid creature suddenly appeared in front of Chu-Yi. There's danger." Chu-Yi immediately sensed the danger, interrupted his practice without hesitation, transformed into a god-killing spear, and faced this strange creature. The god-killing spear was as sharp as electricity, and it was pointed directly at the flame man's chest in an instant. However, the tip of the spear, which could penetrate at a touch, did not cause any harm to the flame man. "This is a creature in the form of pure energy. What the hell is it? It's not even written in the textbook." Chu-Yi frowned. "The form of this flame man is incredible. It is actually made of pure fire attributes." I saw the flame man attacking Chu-Yi crazily, without any fear. When Chu-Yi saw the flame man's actions, he immediately activated his water attribute ability. The water element instantly condensed into a spear, and the form filled with pure energy shot out of the air and headed straight for the flame man's body. When water and fire met, a burst of water vapor suddenly rose, obviously causing damage to the flame man. This is the restraint between attributes. Water restrains fire. It was seen that the blazing flames on the flame man were obviously suppressed by Chu-Yi's water gun attack, but there were still a few flames burning tenaciously. I see. Chu-Yi saw the weakness of the flame man. He held the water gun in his hand tightly and launched a crazy attack on the flame man without hesitation. Gradually, the flame was completely extinguished. This is a flame crystal core. It is of great benefit to those with fire attributes. Chu-Yi's eyes lit up when he saw a crystal core burning with blazing flames falling. No wonder Feng Qingyan once came here to practice. Chu-Yi couldn't wait to sit down cross-legged and devote himself wholeheartedly to the practice of primordial origin Wuji Kung Fu. Golden flames poured into Chu-Yi's body like a flood, as if thousands of sparks were burning in his blood, and the primordial origin Wuji Kung was operating at full strength. The golden flame burned blazingly, and the temperature was extremely terrifying, but it did not cause Chu-Yi any discomfort. Gradually, Chu-Yi was surrounded by golden flames, and the flames burned fiercely, as if they were going to melt his whole body into it. The heat of the golden flame poured into Chu-Yi's body continuously, like thousands of tiny tongues of fire jumping on his skin, burning every inch of his skin. Chu Yi's body gradually became stronger under the stimulation of primordial origin Wuji Gong. This is golden flame body refining. In this way, 5 days passed quietly. At this moment, Chu Yi was still baptized by the golden flame, and the blazing flame gradually penetrated into his body. Suddenly, there was a boom, and flames shot into the sky, and a frightening golden flame burst out from Chu Yi's body. Fire attribute power, done. Chu Yi closed his eyes tightly and his lips trembled slightly. With his shout, the surrounding air seemed to tremble. Primordial origin Wuji Kung Fu, breakthrough. His voice was low and firm, as if announcing his breakthrough. Chu Yidang stood up and waved his arm, and a blazing golden flame burst out. This is his fire attribute, but what's different is that it's golden flames. Very good, very powerful. And most importantly, my physical fitness has also been significantly improved. He couldn't help but feel happy. However, the joy on Chu Yi's face soon turned into contemplation. However, I'm afraid this is not enough to compete with the Black Dragon King. Slowly walking forward towards the depths of the Antarctic hell of fire, along the way, he witnessed countless strange beasts shaped like flames, burning with blazing flames. Chu Yi held a spear that shone with water attribute light, and he launched a fierce hunt for these flaming beasts without hesitation. The spear shuttled through the sea of fire, filling the air with steam, extinguishing every flaming beast. Whenever a flaming beast is extinguished by a water attribute spear, the flame crystal cores on their bodies will fall down one after another, emitting a heart-warming light. Great! So many flame crystal nuclei. It's so exciting. Chu Yi was extremely excited. He sat down cross-legged impatiently and quickly absorbed the aura and flame power contained in the flame crystal nuclei. Chu Yi concentrated on controlling the flow of golden flames in his body, and it slowly enveloped his whole body. The golden flame danced on his skin like a ghost, gently touching every inch of it. Chu Yi relied on the power of the flame crystal core and golden flame to perform body refining on his body. Ever since he was crushed by the Black Dragon King, Chu Yi has attached greater importance to physical training than ever before. In this way, after practicing for about 2 hours, Chu Yi said to himself excitedly, "Great! This body refining method is really effective. Although the pure golden flame alone cannot achieve the body refining effect, as long as it is used in conjunction with the flame crystal core, you can truly perform perfect body refining on your body. God is really helping me. I am the Lion King of Purgatory, human being. Get out of here." At this moment, a huge flaming lion suddenly appeared and pounced towards Chu Yi. The blazing flames were like roaring anger. Chu Yi's eyes narrowed, and he quickly dodged away from the fierce attack of the flame lion, and said, "You stupid fire lion, you start fighting at the slightest disagreement, how rude." The Purgatory Lion King widened his eyes angrily and roared, "Humans, get out of the Antarctic hell. The Antarctic hell will never allow a second person to trample on it." Chu Yi smiled and asked doubtfully, "Oh, is Feng Qingyan the first one? You human being, you are actually working with that woman." The Purgatory Lion King's eyes instantly became ferocious, and he roared angrily. The Purgatory Lion King was like a giant flame beast, fiercely attacking Chu Yi. Its whole body burned with terrifying blazing flames, emitting a suffocating heat wave. However, Chu Yi did not panic, and decided to show off his new ability Thunder Flame form. In an instant, his body was surrounded by golden flames, followed by black thunder and lightning surrounding his body. The golden flames and black thunder and lightning blended into each other and turned into a new force, the power of thunder flames, exuding a suffocating aura of destruction. Thunder Flame form, done. Thunder Flame fist. Chu Yi roared, and his fists hit the Purgatory Lion King like a violent storm. Each punch contained the terrifying power of thunder flames. Bang bang bang. Chu Yi's fist hit the Purgatory Lion King's body again and again. "Do you accept it? You fire lion." The Purgatory Lion King roared angrily, "Human, stop it, you, ah. Ah, ah, ah. Ha ha, little fire lion, look at me, I'll beat you to death right now." A contemptuous smile appeared at the corner of Chu Yi's mouth. The Purgatory Lion King said extremely arrogantly, "HMPH. Do you think you can beat me to death? I am the Purgatory Lion King." A long while passed. The flames on the Purgatory Lion King were almost completely extinguished, and it lay weakly on the ground, looking extremely weak. The Purgatory Lion King begged, "Master, please have mercy on me, please have mercy on me. Give me a reason not to kill you." Chu Yi snorted coldly. The Purgatory Lion King quickly said, "I know a huge secret. As long as you promise not to kill me, I will tell you." When Chu Yi heard this, a trace of interest flashed in his eyes, and he said, "Tell me, if you can satisfy me, I won't kill you." The Purgatory Lion King nervously replied, "As long as you promise not to kill me, I will tell you." When Chu Yi heard this, he immediately used Thunder Flame Fist again without hesitation. Bang bang bang. Once again, it hit the body of the Purgatory Lion King hard, and a deafening loud noise broke out in an instant. Under the bombardment of the Purgatory Lion King's Thunder Flame Fist, the aura on his body suddenly became even more depressed. Chu Yi said coldly, "Do you have any room for bargaining now? If you don't tell me, you will die." At this moment, a powerful breath of flames came from a distance, which was so terrifying that Chu Yi couldn't help but a drop of cold sweat broke out on his forehead. This aura of flames is so strong, too strong. It's more powerful than the aura of the Black Dragon King. He was extremely shocked in his heart. In an instant, a man stood in front of him, with long black hair dancing in the wind, sword-shaped eyebrows and starry eyes flashing with sharpness, and a black robe covering his body, exuding a frightening aura of flames. "Boy, you have the aura of the Ice Demon. Are you the one who killed the Ice Demon?" He spoke slowly. "What should I do? If this person wants to kill me, I'm afraid I will die again." A drop of cold sweat fell from Chu Yi's forehead. He was so nervous that he felt an unparalleled pressure. Chu Yi smiled and said respectfully, "Senior, hello. Who is the Ice Demon you mentioned?" The man also smiled and said, "I am Qin Haoran, don't be afraid, kid, I won't hurt you. I feel the devil's breath from you, but you are a human and not a devil. You should have killed demons before. You are Ice Devil." Chu Yi suddenly understood that he was referring to the Ice Demon from the core of the Arctic, and that he had indeed killed him in a sense. He replied without hesitation, "Senior, I was indeed the one who killed the Ice Demon." Qin Haoran smiled slightly, "Boy, very good. What's your name?" There was a hint of appreciation in his eyes. Chu Yi bowed and said, "Junior, Chu Yi." Qin Haoran smiled mysteriously. "Let me introduce myself, I am a demon hunter." "In a sense, you are also a demon hunter now." His tone revealed his appreciation for Chu Yi. Chu Yi was a little confused. What is a demon hunter? This is very complicated to say. You can think of humans who have gained the power of demons as demon hunters. Qin Haoran pondered for a moment and continued, "The reason why they are called demon hunters is because they are demon hunters. Very sensitive to the scent of demons, but there may be no demons on this planet now. Don't be so nervous, Chu Yi." Qin Haoran grabbed Chu Yi's shoulders enthusiastically and laughed loudly, "I'm a few years older than you. From now on, you can call me Brother Haoran and I will protect you. In this world, come on, maybe we are the only two demon hunters." Ha ha ha. Chu Yi cursed in his heart, "Brother. I'm already thankful that you didn't kill me." Chu Yi was overwhelmed by the enthusiasm he had just met. "Okay, Brother Haoran, how is your current strength?" Chu Yi asked. Qin Haoran laughed and said, "I reached rank 9 about 300 years ago, but I still can't break through to a higher level." Chu Yi said in surprise, 300 years ago? Wasn't that the time when the spiritual energy just recovered? Qin Haoran replied nonchalantly, "That's right. Is there any problem?" Chu Yi asked doubtfully, "Have you lived for 300 years? Qin Haoran said again indifferently, "Yes. Is there any problem?" Chu Yi said in surprise, "You can actually live for 300 years. Are you here to tease me?" Qin Haoran coughed, and then explained, "A normal rank 9 superpower can live for thousands of years if he does not burn his vitality excessively. Moreover, the power of the devil will give humans the ability to be almost immortal." Chu Yi's eyes widened and he looked at Qin Haoran speechlessly. Qin Haoran chuckled, with a provocative light in his eyes, "Okay. Okay, after hundreds of years, I finally meet someone like me. I will take you to an exciting place." Chu Yi raised his eyebrows and asked curiously, "Where? Exciting. Of course it's a place that all men love. There is endless joy and excitement there that can make your blood boil." Qin Haoran's mouth corners slightly raised, revealing a hint of mystery. "I still want to practice. Moreover, this Lion King of Purgatory actually ran away. Chu Yi had a black line on his forehead. Qin Haoran responded disapprovingly. What kind of training are you doing? You have a lot of time. It's just a Lion King. When the time comes, Brother Haoran, I will help you catch a rank 9 Dragon King and give you a good time. After Qin Haoran finished speaking, he pulled Chu Yi to transmigrate the Antarctic fire hell as quickly as lightning. It turned into a red phantom and arrived in the famous Las Vegas not long after. Las Vegas. Gambling. Chu Yi raised his eyebrows in confusion. Ha ha ha. This is a real paradise for men. Here, you can unleash your inner fanaticism. Qin Haoran couldn't help but grinned excitedly. However, Chu Yi was not interested in this place at all. He frowned and said, I am going to practice. And I am now a wanted criminal in the world. Relax, no matter how many enemies there are. Qin Haoran smiled happily, exuding a fearless aura. As long as you dare to come, I will kill them all. Even if the Dragon King comes, I will not fear. At this moment, a luxurious casino in Las Vegas was filled with people, surging like a tide. The colorful lights flicker like thousands of stars dotting the dark sky, which is dazzling. Qin Haoran held the chips tightly, with enthusiasm in his eyes. Pressure. It's still stressful. Small this time. He pushed the chips onto the gambling table without hesitation, as if money was not a treasure in his eyes but as cheap as air. However, no matter what he bets on, his money seems to be destined to get away from him, and he will lose again and again. Chu Yi, on the other hand, stood quietly aside with deep eyes. Hey, this guy is so strong, is he just a gambler? Chu Yi lamented in his heart. Suddenly, the lights on the casino stage shone brightly, and a voluptuous blonde appeared. She spoke elegantly. Today's show is about to begin, let us witness the splendor of the freak show. Everyone stared dumbfoundedly at the people being carried onto the stage one by one. Human pigging refers to chopping off a person's palms and soles. The eyes were dug out, copper was injected into the ears to make them deaf, silence medicine was poured into the throat, the tongues were cut off, and the vocal cords were damaged so that they could not speak. Some even had their noses cut off, their hair and eyebrows shaved off. Some of the deformed humans were put into vases and became extremely weird. There were even more women who suffered cruel and merciless torture, their limbs were cut off, and they were lying on the ground like pigs. The most important thing is that there was a woman from the Dragon Kingdom among them. What's going on? There are some children and people from the Dragon Kingdom among them. Chu Yi was shocked in his heart. His anger was burning, and his clenched fist had cut his hand, but he didn't know it. Qin Haoran patted Chu Yi's shoulder and said calmly, Chu Yi, don't be impulsive. Chu Yi asked angrily, among these people are people from the Dragon Kingdom, did you know? Qin Haoran said calmly, I know, I am also from the Dragon Kingdom, keep reading. Who are you from the Dragon Kingdom? Aren't you angry? Why are you still so calm? Ha, Chu Yi suppressed his anger. Qin Haoran said calmly, I have lived for hundreds of years and have seen many things more cruel than this. Keep reading. Chu Yi could hardly control himself at this moment, and said angrily, I want to kill these guys. Calm down. Qin Haoran quickly tried to dissuade him, but Chu Yi was already angry. His whole body was filled with strong evil energy, making him feel like he was in a dark abyss. Still too young. Qin Haoran sighed silently. Everyone present, please don't move or you will die. At this moment, Chu Yi's cold voice echoed in the hall, his words carrying a sense of determination. The god-killing sword instantly appeared, and he held the hilt of the sword tightly with one hand, surrounded by evil energy. Several American superpowers present were unconvinced and challenged, who are you? How dare you be here? Before they could finish speaking, their necks were cut by the god-killing sword, and they died. Get out of here, you from the Dragon Kingdom. Before he finished speaking, die. This is not a place where you can be arrogant. Before he finished speaking, die. All this happened so fast that everyone in the casino was instantly shocked. Chu Yi stared coldly at the blonde on the stage, with a cold smile on his lips, call your casino boss out, or, die. Okay. The blonde's body trembled and she nodded tremblingly. After a while, a middle-aged American man appeared, accompanied by several American superpowers. He said to Chu Yi, you are the one who broke into my casino and caused trouble, right? Chu Yi responded indifferently. Ha, tell me. What on earth is going on? The middle-aged man from the United States laughed sarcastically. Can you take care of it? Boy, I advise you not to meddle in other people's business. You are from the Dragon Kingdom, and this is not something you can mess with. Chu Yi said coldly. It seems that you don't want to explain any more, then let's all die. Seeing that Chu Yi was about to take action, several American superpowers immediately rushed towards him. Looking for death. Even you superpowers want to stop me. Chu Yi laughed with a sarcastic face. He held the god-killing sword tightly, exuding murderous aura, and danced the blade crazily, showing an extremely violent the power of killing. American middle-aged man, die. All superpowers present, die. Don't kill me. Die. Do not die. At this moment, except for Renji and Chin Haoran on the stage, everyone else on the stage was brutally killed. Chin Haoran asked curiously. Chu Yi, what are you going to do next? What are your plans for these people? Chu Yi ignored Chin Haoran and went straight up the steps, staring at the enslaved little girl from the Dragon Kingdom and a woman from the Dragon Kingdom. This was too cruel. People were treated like this. It was so cruel and unforgivable. You. Can you still talk? Chu Yi stared at them, with a hint of sadness in his eyes. The two of them just stared at Chu Yi in silence. It was obvious that they had lost the ability to speak. Chu Yi glanced at the other people. They were all black Americans and ended their lives without hesitation. The two of them only have 1 month left to live at most. Chin Haoran's voice was full of worry and confusion. Why? Chu Yi sighed deeply and said, no. Chin Haoran frowned, confusion revealed in his tone, and said, but why do you still choose to do this? Because there are some things that I have to do. Chu Yi's eyes revealed extremely firmness and determination. After Chin Haoran hesitated for a moment, he asked, are you planning to save them? Yes. Chu Yi nodded without hesitation. Chin Haoran sighed and said, this is difficult, but I have a way, and I need to pay some price. Thank you, Brother Haoran. Chu Yi nodded slightly. After a long time, in the core of the Antarctic hell, a huge flame core burned blazingly, emitting a terrifying power of flame that made people change their colors. Surrounded by the core of flames, 2 aura masks enveloped a little girl and a woman. Their bodies appeared abnormally deformed, making Chu Yi feel inexplicably sad. Chin Haoran stared at the scene in front of him and said calmly, if you want to save them, you must reshape their bodies and cast them into a half-flame spirit body. I can't help you with this process, you must face it yourself. Chu Yi nodded and asked, then what should I do? The theory of the half-flame spirit body is to use flames to fill the missing parts of their bodies. However, this kind of flame has special requirements and needs a steady stream of vitality to nourish. Let these flames have a certain vitality. Chin Haoran said, deeply taking a breath, with a hint of seriousness in his tone. He glanced at Chu Yi solemnly. Moreover, with their current weak bodies, it is obvious that they cannot bear the pain in the process of reshaping their bodies. This also requires a steady stream of vitality. Keep them alive. That is to say, I need to continuously inject life force, right? Chu Yi fell into deep thought, and a thought flashed in his mind. Yes, you can think so. Chin Haoran nodded and continued to explain. However, as they reshape their bodies, your life force cannot stop injecting them. Once you stop, they will die instantly. Alas. Chin Haoran sighed and continued. Chu Yi, I can feel the vastness of the vitality in your body, but there are still great risks in the process. I suggest you think carefully about whether to do it or not. Saving them, I don't think it makes much sense to save them. Chu Yi's eyes were extremely firm and he said, no need to think about it, I will definitely save them. Alas. Chin Haoran sighed deeply. Okay. I will activate the flame core now, and then you can start to inject the power of life into them. Chu Yi nodded silently. Then Chin Haoran began to activate the flame core, and a blazing energy began to surge. The flames swirled around the two of them, gradually beginning to reshape their bodies. Chu Yi kept taking deep breaths, instilling the power of life into their bodies. His palms trembled slightly, but he continued unwaveringly. We must succeed. His eyes flashed with determination, as if they were an indestructible light. Then, he injected a life force into the flame. Gradually, the flames began to merge with the two of them, slowly beginning to reshape their bodies. Time seemed to have stood still for a long time, and Chuyi was sweating profusely, but the tree of life in his body was still full of powerful vitality. This is, the soul power begins to transform. However, Chuyi's soul power fell into an abnormal state, like a raging fire, burning faster and more violently. Forget it for now, it's more important to save people. Chuyi exuded a pure and powerful vitality, like a never-exhausted spring, continuously pouring into the bodies of the two. On the first day, the flames ignited on their mutilated bodies, and the power of the flames was like a hot torrent, constantly swimming between their skins. The next day, the flames gradually gained the power of life, and they continued to merge with the two of them. The power of the flames carried infinite vitality. On the third day, the flames miraculously formed complete limbs and skeletons, integrating with their original incomplete bodies, as if they had experienced a magical rebirth. Now, their bodies have been completely reshaped, glowing with a strong aura of fire. Great, this is a success. Chuyi witnessed all this, and there was an indescribable feeling of joy in his heart. The little girl and woman finally regained their vitality and restored their complete human form. This sight made Chuyi feel happy. However, just when he was immersed in joy, Chin Haoran poured cold water on him. Chuyi, don't be happy too early. Although the two of them have recovered physically, the mental trauma they have suffered is. It cannot be easily remedied. In short, they are now suffering from severe mental illness. Chuyi said in confusion. Why didn't you tell me earlier? You didn't ask. Chin Haoran shrugged helplessly, trying to defend himself. This matter is so important, but you didn't say anything. Is there something wrong with you? Chuyi was furious. Well, actually this kind of mental illness can be cured, it just takes a long time. Chin Haoran smiled awkwardly. At this moment, a little girl and a woman appeared in front of Chuyi. They opened their mouths to speak, but no sound came out. Even though their bodies had fully recovered, they still couldn't speak. Chuyi, they were once just ordinary people, but they suffered inhuman cruelty. Now they have forgotten how to express themselves. Chin Haoran's voice was low and powerful. Chuyi asked in shock. This. Alas. Chin Haoran sighed deeply. Everything is possible. This is why I don't recommend you to save them. Chuyi frowned and asked unwillingly. Is there really no way? There is still a way, but it will take time for them to gradually recover. Chin Haoran's eyes flashed with a wise light. It may take a month, it may take a year, it may even take 10 years. It is more likely to be it will take a lifetime to fully recover. Chuyi hesitated for a moment, looked at Chin Haoran seriously and said, then I'll leave it to you to handle these two people. Chin Haoran's brows wrinkled slightly, and he replied dissatisfied, do you want to leave these two burdens on me? There was a hint of dissatisfaction in his tone. Chuyi sighed and replied with a helpless expression, it's all your fault that you didn't explain it clearly at the beginning, which led to the current situation. A cynical smile appeared at the corner of Chin Haoran's mouth. He shrugged and said, okay. Although these two people are a little crazy, they are now half flame spirit body and cultivation talent. They are not bad. Just stay here in Antarctica. Get to the core. Chuyi was stunned for a moment. His voice was full of confusion and doubts. He heard the key point in Chin Haoran's words. He frowned and asked doubtfully, what do you mean? None of them have awakened their powers. Why, can you practice? Chin Haoran smiled slightly and shook his head slightly, with a hint of mystery in his tone that could not be ignored, don't you know? In this world, not only those who have awakened their powers can practice. Chuyi became even more confused after hearing this, and opened his mouth slightly, wanting to say something but not knowing what to say. Chin Haoran looked at Chuyi's expression and understood his confusion. He smiled and said, okay. Then I will popularize some things for you that most people don't know. Chuyi nodded and signaled the other party to continue talking. Chin Haoran took a deep breath and his expression became solemn. Do you know the ancient martial artist? He spoke slowly, his voice full of the charm of ancient legends. Chuyi shook his head and said that he knew nothing about it. Chin Haoran smiled slightly, his eyes full of wisdom, and he continued to explain. Actually, before the spiritual energy was revived, there used to be some powerful people in this world, what we call ancient martial artists. Although the spiritual energy was very thin at that time, but there are still some places with strong aura, such as Kunlun Mountain. His voice gradually became deeper, and Chuyi couldn't help being attracted by his words and listened attentively. Chin Haoran paused and continued. These ancient martial artists rely on practicing skills to break through their own limits. They are not like awakened superpowers who can rely on the power of superpowers to improve their strength. Because the spiritual energy is thin, the reason is that their path of cultivation was extremely difficult, so that the number of ancient martial artists was very rare. Chuyi's eyes suddenly lit up, and a look of enlightenment appeared on his face. He curiously asked Chin Haoran, "So that's it, then who is more powerful between the superpowers and the ancient martial artist?" Chin Haoran smiled and replied thoughtfully, "The ancient martial artist, based on self-cultivation, constantly absorbs the entering spirit in the body, and can derive various abilities. People with superpowers can awaken through superpowers. To evaluate a person's potential, there is a huge difference between SSS level and F level powers, just like fate has already been determined. The ancient martial artist and the power user are products of two eras, and there is no way to compare them." Chuyi and Chin Haoran talked for a long time and learned deeply about the various situations before the spiritual energy was revived. The little girl and woman were also properly placed somewhere in Antarctica by Chin Haoran. At this moment, Chuyi was in the core of Antarctica, embarking on an extremely difficult training. He was running the primordial origin Wuji Kung Fu, feeling the changes in his soul power, like a ray of hot water that was constantly boiling and rolling. The flames in the core of Antarctica were burning brightly, roasting Chuyi's body mercilessly, and at the same time arousing the endless boiling of his soul power. Under this situation, his soul power continued to absorb the soul power of the core of the soul system, like a bottomless pit with no end. Time passes minute by minute, day by day. On the first day, Chuyi's soul core was slowly absorbed, while his soul power continued to boil fiercely. The next day, Chuyi's soul power boiled even more violently. He was a little confused about this situation, but no matter what, he could feel that his soul power was increasing. The third day, the fifth day, the sixth day. Until a whole month has passed. At this moment, Chuyi's soul space was filled with a hazy mist, and the soul power filled the entire space like mist, quietly integrating into Chuyi's body, and strangely merging with his evil aura. Chuyi felt that his body had become extremely powerful, and terrifying power surged within his body. Then, the soul power and the evil spirit merged like fierce flames, intertwined vertically and horizontally, forming an unparalleled force in Chuyi's body. The aura of the god-killing spear and god-killing sword also became stronger and stronger, like an unstoppable torrent. However, Chuyi's physical body continued to transform under the impact of this energy, becoming more and more indestructible. Suddenly, a terrifying aura erupted from Chuyi's body, sweeping over like a violent storm and shaking the entire core area of the Antarctic hell. At this moment, Chuyi officially broke through to rank 7, and primordial origin Wujigong also broke through again, breaking through to the 7th level. Very good, the second awakening, the god-killing demonic body. Chuyi slowly opened his eyes, with endless fighting intent in his eyes, Black Lizard. Just wait. At this moment, Chuyi had the illusion that he could blow up a planet with one punch. He felt that his physical strength had reached an incredible level. Suddenly, Chin Haoran quietly appeared next to Chuyi and said with a smile, "Ha ha ha, Chuyi, you finally made a breakthrough. Well, it's time to set off." Chuyi smiled slightly. "Where are you going?" Chin Haoran frowned slightly. Chuyi replied firmly, "Of course I'm going to kill that hateful Black Dragon King." Chin Haoran asked in surprise, "What did you say? Black Dragon King?" "That's right, it's the guy who almost took my life. I'm going to avenge myself." Chuyi's eyes flashed with murderous intent. Chin Haoran reminded, "The Black Dragon King is no ordinary opponent." Chuyi then asked, "Do you know where it is hiding?" "I just wanted to ask you if you know." "I know where it is, but do you really want to go?" The Black Dragon King is not easy to deal with. After Chin Haoran thought for a moment, he took a deep breath and frowned. "Actually, as long as you ask, I can help you kill it." "No need, Black Dragon King, I must kill him with my own hands." Chuyi raised his head with firm eyes. "Chuyi, I advise you not to take risks, although you are indeed very powerful now." Chin Haoran sighed and persuaded, "But it is almost impossible to kill the Black Dragon King." Brother Haoran, I have a secret weapon. The Black Dragon King will die this time. Chu Yi showed a confident smile. Chu Yi believed that as long as he could cause harm to the Black Dragon King, the power of the evil spirit could definitely kill the Black Dragon King. When Qin Haoran heard what Chu Yi said, he also smiled boldly and said, "Okay. I'll take you there, ha 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 ha. I have fought against the Black Dragon King before. His strength is indeed good." Half an hour later, Chu Yi and Qin Haoran came to a bottomless cave somewhere in the United States. Qin Haoran said excitedly, "I remember that the Black Dragon King lives under this cave." Chu Yi took a deep breath and shouted to the cave without fear, "Black Lizard, why don't you hurry up and come out to meet your death?" Deep in the cave, the Black Dragon King, who was sleeping quietly, was angered by this provocative roar. His eyes widened and he was furious. Who dares to disturb this Dragon King's dream? The Black Dragon King's anger shot straight into the sky, his ferocious eyes locked tightly on Chu Yi and Qin Haoran. However, when he saw that Chu Yi was still alive, his eyes widened and he was extremely shocked. It had clearly killed Chu Yi last time. "Chu Yi, why are you not dead yet?" Chu Yi replied mockingly, "You want me to die? Are you worthy of a black lizard? Not even if the King of Hell comes." However, when the Black Dragon King turned his eyes to Qin Haoran, his expression instantly turned into fear. "Qin Haoran, it's you. You, why are you here?" The Black Dragon King's trembling voice was full of fear. Qin Haoran showed a cynical expression and joked, "Yo yo yo. Isn't this a black dog? Qin Haoran, what do you want to do? I really didn't offend you this time." The Black Dragon King suddenly felt a wave of fear in his heart, and it remembered the fear of being dominated by Qin Haoran. Qin Haoran replied indifferently, "I'm not here to kill you, but my brother is here to duel with you." The Black Dragon King widened his eyes and asked, "Is your brother Chu Yi?" Qin Haoran said without hesitation, "Of course. Chu Yi is my brother." The Black Dragon King suddenly fell into silence, his heart filled with shock. "What should I do? Black Lizard, are you starting to get scared?" Chu Yi mocked. "Afraid? I am the Black Dragon King. How can I be afraid? Let's fight if we want." The Black Dragon King roared. Chu Yi sneered, and instantly transformed into a god-killing spear. The Kunpeng form was activated, and the Kunpeng armor on his body shone with dazzling light. A terrifying murderous aura emanated from Chu Yi, like a demon coming, launching a fierce attack on the Black Dragon King. The Black Dragon roars. Upon seeing this, the Black Dragon King roared to the sky angrily. "HMPH, is this such a stupid move again?" Chu Yi snorted and shouted, "Evil Spirit Shield, protect." In an instant, a stream of evil energy emitted from Chu Yi's body, forming a black evil energy shield. The shield and the Black Dragon's wrath collided with each other, and were eventually offset in the void. The Black Dragon King's blood-red eyes widened, and he roared angrily, "Impossible. Absolutely impossible. You can actually block the Black Dragon's roar. Nothing is impossible. Today is your death day." Chu Yi sneered, a flash of determination flashed in his eyes. "Black Lizard, if you have the ability, come with me." Chu Yi shouted angrily. "Chu Yi, this time, you must die." The Black Dragon King roared crazily. The gazes of one man and one dragon intertwined, and endless sparks of battle broke out in an instant. Chu Yi suddenly flew towards the direction of the Japanese country. The strong wind roared in his ears, like black lightning, streaking across the sky. Following closely behind him was the Black Dragon King, like a black shadow, following closely behind him. It roared angrily, sounding like thunder, and kept roaring and attacking. The Black Dragon roars. 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 Every time it roars, it carries the power of destruction, as if it is going to tear the entire world apart. However, Chu Yi was not to be outdone. He used the evil spirit shield to resist the attacks of the Black Dragon King again and again, like an indestructible fortress. Every collision will trigger a black explosion, and the scene is terrifying. The evil aura on his body was like an invisible barrier, firmly blocking out the violent power of the Black Dragon King. A moment later, the fierce battle between Chu Yi and the Black Dragon King had expanded to Tokyo, and the war spread to every corner. After the fierce battle between Chu Yi and the Black Dragon King, Chu Yi used his clones to transform into 6 clones of water, wood, ice, poison, thunder, and fire. Each clone exuded a unique light. The 6 clones unfolded at lightning speed and dispersed to every corner of Tokyo in an instant. The clones began to carry out cruel and merciless massacres, like the arrival of the devil in the darkness. Massacre to your heart's content. Let these Japanese people taste the taste of destruction and slaughter them all. Chuyi laughed crazily, his voice echoing on the battlefield. At this moment, in the Japanese command center, Lieutenant General Shabi shouted nervously, "Quick, quick, quick. The evil star Chuyi is here again, and there is a black dragon, and he launches missiles immediately." The subordinates said one after another, but, what about the civilians in Tokyo? Launch directly. We must kill Chuyi this time. Lieutenant General Shabi was already blinded by anger. At this time, the Black Dragon King saw that Chuyi still had the intention to kill the Japanese people. A sense of humiliation instantly surged into his heart, and it roared angrily, "Chuyi! How dare you despise me so much? I am the Black Dragon King. So what if I despise you, Black Lizard? You are just a waste." Chuyi held the god-killing spear in his hand and provocatively said, "Come and kill me." "Waste, waste, waste." The Black Dragon King roared, with angry flames igniting in his eyes. He glared at Chuyi and roared angrily, "Chuyi, you are so angry with me. Ah, you are looking for death." Its voice was low and majestic, with an unshakable power. The Black Dragon King roars. As the Black Dragon King roared, the world seemed to tremble, and an invisible energy began to intertwine between the two. The Black Dragon King suddenly opened his mouth, and a black dragon's breath spurted out, swallowing up everything around him in an instant. Chuyi sneered, his figure was like lightning, and he quickly dodged the Black Dragon King's attack. Unknowingly, high-rise buildings in Tokyo collapsed one after another, killing countless Japanese people. "It's wonderful." Chuyi was extremely excited. "This time not only can we eliminate the Japanese people in Tokyo, but maybe we can also get rid of this black lizard in one fell swoop." The Black Dragon King continued to send out thundering dragon roars. The power of destruction never touched Chuyi, but rushed towards the high-rise buildings in Tokyo crazily. "Chuyi, you can only hide." The Black Dragon King roared, his voice seemed to come from the depths of hell. "Let me show you the latest move I have learned. Black Lizard." Chuyi's eyes flashed with a desire to fight. God-killing spear technique, primordial origin Wuji style. Chuyi held the god-killing spear tightly and rushed towards the figure of the Black Dragon King. The god-killing spear in his hand was like a violent real dragon, dancing wildly and irregularly. This marksmanship is extremely weird and has no fixed moves. It is this unrestrained agility that brings its power to the extreme. At this critical moment, countless missiles emerged from the sky, flying towards Chuyi like a dark rain curtain. "Haha, it seems that the IQ of the top management of the Japanese country is worrying." Chuyi sneered, with a flash of disdain in his eyes. I saw countless missiles whizzing past Chuyi, passing by each other for a moment. Boom, boom, boom. Countless missiles exploded, and these missiles slammed into the city of Tokyo. The already dilapidated city was now shrouded in ruthless destruction. Countless houses collapsed, and countless Japanese people died instantly. It's wonderful, they actually kill their own people." Chuyi was overjoyed and ecstatic. "I really don't know what the senior officials of the Japanese country are thinking. Are they out of their minds?" The Black Dragon King roars. I saw the Black Dragon King continuously using the Black Dragon roar, while Chuyi dodged flexibly. "Chuyi, stop hiding." The Black Dragon King roared angrily. "Haha, you useless black lizard, you attacked me last time when I wasn't prepared." Chuyi sneered, "This time, I'll show you my strength." Ice and Thunder Secret, God-killing arrow. The power of ice and thunder in Chuyi's hand turned into a gorgeous ice and thunder bow, and he gently inserted the god-killing spear. The power of ice and thunder blended with the god-killing spear in an instant, forming a frightening god-killing arrow that flew out instantly. Compared with the last time, the power of this god-killing arrow is extremely different. "Die, Black Lizard, I am no longer who I was before. But your strength has stagnated." Chuyi shouted loudly. "A mere human being actually provokes me, the Black Dragon King. Look at my Black Dragon King roaring." The Black Dragon King roared, and with his roar, a terrifying destructive energy was instantly released. In an instant, the ice thunder god-killing arrow greeted him. Come on to the Black Dragon King's devastating roar. The terrifying energy intertwined together to form a huge vortex of spiritual energy, which spread out one after another. The vortex continued to expand, and finally erupted with a loud noise. The terrifying air waves swept through the entire city of Tokyo, but Chuyi and the Black Dragon King were unscathed and faced each other. Chuyi sneered and said, "Black Lizard, I didn't expect you to have a chance." The Black Dragon King glared at Chuyi and said angrily, "Chuyi, don't think that with Chin Haoran protecting you, I won't dare to kill you." Chuyi raised his eyebrows and mocked, "Oh. Then you try to kill one." Suddenly, an evil spirit entangled in the Black Dragon King's body and swam like a poisonous snake. The Black Dragon King asked in surprise, What did you do to me? What kind of power is this?" "Impossible, I am the Black Dragon King. I am a dragon." "Ha ha." Chuyi chuckled, with an extremely indifferent expression. "A mere Western dragon dares to call himself the Dragon King, are you worthy? Just die." As soon as he blurted out his words, the evil aura on the Black Dragon King was like a huge wave. The general surging force gradually surrounded and engulfed him. The Black Dragon King trembled and begged for mercy. Master Chuyi. Please don't kill me. Don't kill me. I am willing to be your mount, don't kill me." "Uncle, am I that old? Humph, you'd better die." Chuyi sneered. "Ah, human, you have to die." The Black Dragon King kept struggling, and just like this, under the shroud of evil energy, the last glimmer of hope gradually disappeared, and he was eventually swallowed up and died. Please like and subscribe. Chapter 71. As the Black Dragon King's power was swallowed up by Chuyi's evil spirit, a destructive power surged out of Chuyi's body, like rolling flames, burning every inch of his skin. There was a crazy light in Chuyi's eyes, like a crazy star torn apart in the sky. "Ha ha ha, great," he shouted excitedly, with a hint of slightly crazy excitement in his voice. "Beasts of Japan, let's see who can stop me this time." A murderous smile appeared on Chuyi's serious face. At this moment, Chuyi's clones of the 6 realms of water, wood, ice, poison, thunder, and fire were like bloodthirsty beasts, brutally killing the residents of Tokyo. Chuyi also joined this bloody dance. He kept swinging the god-killing spear in his hand, and every swing was accompanied by a terrifying evil spirit, violently harvesting lives. Every time it was waved, 4 to 5 lives were taken away. This was a frightening and terrifying scene. The Japanese people became lambs to be slaughtered, with nowhere to escape. "Feel my gift, you Japanese beasts. I have brought you a happy death." Chuyi roared loudly. The city of Tokyo was filled with the screams of Japanese people, like the screams of hell, and the wails echoed in the night sky. The Japanese woman trembled and begged for mercy, "Please don't kill me. I'm willing to do anything." Before she could finish her words, she died. Some people resolutely faced Chuyi's killing. "I will fight with you. Even if you die, you must die with dignity." Before he finished speaking, "Die." Someone cursed Chuyi, "You are a devil. You have devil's blood flowing in your body. Don't come over." Before he finished speaking, "Die. Master Heavenly Sovereign will not let you go. You devil." Someone else threatened. Before he finished speaking, "Die. Ha 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 ha. Die. All die. Japanese people, you all deserve to die." Chuyi laughed loudly, and his laughter was like an evil ghost in hell, reverberating crazily throughout Tokyo. Chuyi had completely lost his mind at this moment and fell into crazy killing. He was slaughtering the residents of Tokyo and these Japanese people crazily. All that was left in his heart was the endless killing and the natural hatred of the people of the Dragon Kingdom towards the Japanese people. At this moment, above the sky, Chin Haoran was confronting the two of them. His eyes were slightly narrowed, revealing an aura of wisdom, as if he could see through everything. There was a hint of majesty in Chin Haoran's voice, and he said calmly, "Zeus, Sabi Shinji, why are you here?" Zeus sneered, "Of course it's to kill Chuyi. His strength has grown too fast and he has become a threat to us." Sabi Shinji roared angrily, "Chuyi is massacring the civilians in my city of Tokyo. Do I still need to explain why I am here? Ha ha, this is my brother down there." In an instant, Chin Haoran suddenly exuded a terrifying breath of flames, which instantly made the two of them feel tremendous pressure. You two, from now on, you are not allowed to make any move, otherwise, you will die. Chin Haoran's voice was filled with cold majesty. Chin Haoran, do you dare to be an enemy of our international organization of superpowers? Zeus's eyes were sharp and majestic. I've never heard of any international organization of superpowers. Is it very strong? Chin Haoran shrugged nonchalantly. Qian Haoran, don't think that just because you are powerful, you can do whatever you want. Zeus said angrily. Chin Haoran smiled disapprovingly. Sorry, being strong means you can do whatever you want. At this time, Sabi Shinji was as anxious as an ant on a hot pot, and his people were facing the fate of inhumane massacre. He shouted angrily. Chin Haoran, I don't believe you are really as powerful as the legend says. Sabi Shinji immediately rushed downwards, intending to stop Chu Yi. HMPH. Looking for death. Chin Haoran snorted coldly, endless hell. Sabi Shinji was instantly enveloped in a flame, and the endless flames instantly burned his whole body. Sabi Shinji gritted his teeth and said, Chin Haoran, you dare to really kill me? I said, if you move, you will die. Chin Haoran said indifferently. As soon as he finished speaking, Sabi Shinji, who was imprisoned by the flame, was completely swallowed up by the cruel and merciless flames, leaving no trace. Seeing this, Zeus hesitated for a moment, and then snorted coldly, Chin Haoran, do you think Chu Yi will be safe if you stop me here? HMPH, what are you insidious and cunning guys planning to do? Chin Haoran curled his lips in disdain. Zeus smiled proudly, hey, just wait and see. Chu Yi is now extremely powerful, and the people we sent should not be able to kill him. Then he narrowed his eyes again and said mysteriously, but, we are against Chu Yi conducted in-depth research and discovered a fatal weakness in him. Weakness, you mean? Chin Haoran frowned. Zeus smiled and whispered, I can assure you that I will not take the initiative to kill him now, and the rest is not my business. I believe Chu Yi will handle it well, he is my brother. A hint of understanding flashed in Chin Haoran's eyes. Zeus showed a hint of a conspiratorial smile and said, watch carefully. This is a good show. At this moment, Chu Yi in Tokyo was massacred wantonly, and crazy blood was spilled on the ground. Time seemed to have frozen, and there was a touch of tension and uneasiness hanging on the edge of life and death. Suddenly, a giant eagle appeared in the sky, soaring with majestic wings. Standing on top of the giant eagle is a supernatural being wearing the uniform of the Eagle Federation. What's even more shocking is that he tied up 6 people. Qin Tianju, Zheng Xin, Lisa Lia, Lu Ruyan, Ji Yu Hanzhong, Cao Lexuan. Except for Qin Tianju, the other 5 people fell into a coma, as if their consciousness was bound by a mysterious force. Chu Yi, stop, look at these people. If you don't stop, I will kill them. The Eagle Kingdom's superpower roared, his voice as shocking as thunder. Chu Yi was suddenly awakened by a deafening roar. He stared closely at the scene in front of him, his eyes widened, and he shouted angrily, let them go, or you will die. He, Chu Yi, stop killing, otherwise these 6 people will die. The Eagle Kingdom's superpower sneered. The fat man shouted loudly at this time, Brother Chu, don't listen to him, this idiot is very weak, I just accidentally got caught by him. Chu Yi responded to the fat man, don't be anxious. This person will die. The Eagle Kingdom's superpower said proudly, oh, Chu Yi, cut off one of your arms right now. I might consider letting one of them go. Chu Yi's anger had reached its peak, and his voice was cold and harsh, ha, how dare you threaten me? Have you ever thought about the consequences of threatening me? There was an irresistible look in his eyes, of majesty. I, Chu Yi, swear that if any of them are harmed, I will personally go to your Eagle Kingdom to see if I can kill the 70 million people in your Eagle Kingdom for how many days. Chu Yi exuded a terrifying energy. Killing intent, that is pure and undisguised killing intent. The superpower from Eagle Kingdom gritted his teeth and roared, Chu Yi, you'd better understand that I'm threatening you now. An indifferent smile appeared on Chu Yi's face, and he responded lightly, humph. Do you think you can threaten me? The secret of extreme ice, absolute zero. He immediately mobilized the power of extreme ice in his body, and a powerful breath of ice was suddenly released. Suddenly, The Eagle Country superpower felt that his movements became slower, as if he was imprisoned by invisible restraints. This is impossible. This is. Then, he instantly condensed into an ice sculpture, and the fragments of the ice sculpture scattered like a goddess scattering flowers. Death. Ridiculous. With this little trick, do you really think you can threaten me? Chu Yi sneered disdainfully. At the same time, Chu Yi's 6 avatars turned into flashes of light, instantly rescuing the 6 people. The fat man said with a naive smile, "Oh, my brother Chu is so awesome." Chu Yi sighed and said in a serious tone, "Fat man. Stop joking around. Logically speaking, you shouldn't be caught. You have to figure out your identity." The fat man said in a low voice with a look of self-blame, "Oh, it's all my fault. We, the transmigrator, have been embarrassed." Fat man, you still dare to run, don't you? Do you think I don't know you were caught on purpose? But at this moment, a purple thunder light fell from the sky, instantly making the scene extremely bright. Accompanied by thunder with a like sound, Nangong Shirong appeared. Her eyes were like lightning, as if she was going to defeat the fat man instantly. "Shirong, listen to my explanation. I was caught because I really couldn't beat them." The fat man suddenly started sweating profusely, and his eyes suddenly became blank and at a loss. Nangong Shirong's brows were furrowed and her eyes were firm. "I don't want to hear your explanation. With your strength, how could you be captured by these losers?" Her words were full of disappointment, as if the fat man's behavior made her feel betrayed in general. Chu Yi's eyes widened in surprise and he said in disbelief, "Fat man, what's going on? Nangong Shirong, why did you suddenly appear here? Did you do something to Nangong Shirong that you shouldn't have done?" "Hee, that's of course. Brother Chu, you know." Fatty chuckled and said with some pride, "Besides, how could those superpowers catch me? I have reached rank 7 now. The superpower has awakened for the 2nd time." Chu Yi was stunned and asked in disbelief, "Fat man, were you caught on purpose?" "Hey, don't I just want to see what their purpose is?" The fat man smiled honestly, with a cunning light shining in his eyes. Chu Yi looked at Nangong Shirong and apologized. "Nangong Shirong, please forgive me for my brother's behavior. The top priority now is to rescue these 5 people." Nangong Shirong smiled, nodded slightly, and said, "Chu Yi, I really didn't expect that you would grow to such an amazing extent in such a short period of time." Chu Yi nodded slightly in response, and then his eyes fell on the 5 unconscious people lying on the ground. His brows wrinkled slightly, with a trace of hesitation on his face. With a flash of his eyes, he injected life force into the 5 people. Surprisingly, after only a short moment, the 5 people suddenly woke up. "Chu Yi, I didn't expect that I was still alive," Zheng Xin shouted, his voice full of excitement and disbelief. Lu Ruyan said gratefully, "Chu Yi, I didn't expect to be saved by you again." Her eyes were full of gratitude. Ji Yu Hanzhong exclaimed, "I didn't expect you to be the one who saved me." His voice revealed his admiration for Chu Yi. Cao Lexuan asked confusedly, "Where am I?" Her brows wrinkled slightly, and her eyes were full of confusion. "Brother Chu, I miss you so much." Lysilia jumped up with joy. Full of joy and excitement, she quickly stepped forward and rushed forward ecstatically, just before she was about to meet. The moment I embraced. Chu Yi felt a chill in his heart, as if he had been touched by an icy sharp blade. A chill instantly hit his heart, catching him off guard. His heart was ruthlessly penetrated by a black dagger. The dagger exuded a faint power of destruction, which made him tremble. "Xiao Sha, you actually want to kill me?" Chu Yi's eyes widened, and his voice was full of disbelief. Lysilia said indifferently, "Brother Chu, I really want to see you. I miss you so much." There was a hint of coldness and cunning in her tone. This scene stunned everyone present, and Fatty reacted immediately. The fat man yelled angrily at Lysilia, "You little thing, how dare you sneak attack on my brother Chu?" At this time, Lysilia no longer concealed herself, and her body instantly returned to its original appearance. "This is Matsumoto's first baby. Little fat man, Chu Yi is dead now. With this dagger piercing the heart, no one can escape the fate of death." Matsumoto Chuiying sneered. The fat man instantly transformed into a ruby golden cudgel and shouted angrily, "You hateful guy. Suffer death. Give me a stick from Grandpa Zhu." The fat man waved the golden cudgel and attacked Matsumoto Chuyin like a violent storm. The stick was dancing in his hand. HMPH. Matsumoto Chuyin sneered, and his body turned into a stream of light and flew into the distance. The mission has been completed. I won't fight you. Do you think I'm stupid? When the fat man saw this, he was ready to chase him, but was stopped by Nangong Shirong. Fat man. Things have happened. The most important thing for us now is to save Chuyi. The fat man yelled at Chuyi crazily, his voice like a bell. Yes, 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 Brother Chu. Brother Chu. Brother Chu. You must not die. His voice was full of worry and anxiety. However, Chuyi's situation at this moment was extremely worrying. His heart was stabbed by a strange dagger. Theoretically, Chuyi should be dead. But the tree of origin located at the heart was able to maintain Chuyi's weak life. At this moment, Chin Haoran, who was above the sky, witnessed this scene, and his face instantly turned as dark as ink. You are so insidious. You stabbed my brother and you still want to escape. He stared at Matsumoto Chuying's fleeing back, with a trace of murderous intent flashing in his eyes. Chin Haoran inspired the power of fire, and a hot energy surged out of his body. Matsumoto Chuyin was immediately surrounded by flames, and instantly turned into ashes and disappeared without a trace. When Zeus saw this, he immediately jeered, "Don't be angry, wasn't it just a stab? Maybe he can still live." Ha 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 ha. Chin Haoran interrupted Zeus's nonsense impatiently at this moment. His whole body was filled with terrible flames, and there was a loud boom that instantly knocked Zeus away. Leave your life to Chuyi, this is a small lesson. Chin Haoran said majestically. Zeus was almost thrown off balance by the impact of this terrifying flame force, and his body quickly retreated. Impossible. You were not so powerful 100 years ago. Ahem. Zeus instantly coughed up a mouthful of blood, obviously being seriously injured by Chin Haoran's casual blow. At this moment, Chin Haoran stood in front of everyone, staring at Chuyi with burning eyes. Nangong Shirong's eyes narrowed slightly, staring closely at this figure, and gradually her eyes widened. Are you the legendary First Awakener, Chin Haoran? Chin Haoran waved his hand and said in an extremely serious tone, the situation is urgent now. What Chuyi has in his heart is a soul-eating weapon specially used to kill soul-type superpowers. You settle these people first, and I will take Chuyi leave for treatment. That's it, let's go. After saying that, Chin Haoran took Chuyi, who was weak in breath, and turned into a stream of red light and headed towards the Antarctic hell of fire. An hour passed, and Chuyi was now in the raging flames at the core of the Antarctic hell. At the same time, Chin Haoran stood aside, controlling the flames to continuously move on the soul-eating dagger. This dagger is a weapon specially used to deal with soul-based superpowers, and it is extremely powerful in itself. What is even more terrifying is that once a soul-type superpower is invaded by the power of soul-eating, the power of soul-eating will continue to erode the body and soul. What's even more terrible is that the power of soul-eating is as difficult to expel as gangrene attached to the bone. As long as you are attacked, you will basically die. If it weren't for Chuyi's strong body and extraordinary soul power, he might have died the moment the dagger penetrated his heart. Chin Haoran murmured to himself, now that the soul-eating power has been discharged, it depends on your destiny, Chuyi. Chuyi was on the verge of life and death at this moment, but the tree of origin continued to supply him with endless vitality, like an invisible energy pouring into his body. The tree of origin actually began to gradually disintegrate, and its leaves and branches merged into Chuyi's body. These leaves and branches seemed to be as red as blood, gradually blending into his body, causing his body to be gradually enveloped in a steady stream of vitality. At the same time, the branches continued to flow through Chuyi's body like vines, like smart veins of life. They shuttled through Chuyi's blood and muscles, injecting endless vitality into him every moment. Every drop of blood is filled with huge vitality, as if it contains endless energy. Just like that, half a year later. In the end, the tree of origin completely decomposed, and its power was completely integrated into Chuyi's body. He could clearly feel the endless vitality flowing in his blood and body. The body of origin, complete. Such a strong vitality, endless. Chuyi frowned slightly. He looked at his body and marveled in his heart, the tree of origin and my physical body have actually merged into one. Now I have the superimposed origin of the god-killing demonic body. The power of the body. Chin Haoran looked at Chu Yi expectantly, his voice full of surprise. You finally woke up, Chu Yi. Is this the core of the Antarctic hellfire? Chu Yi opened his eyes drowsily and glanced around in confusion, his voice filled with confusion and surprise. Chin Haoran approached Chu Yi and said with a frown, you almost died, don't trust others casually in the future. I know. Thank you, Brother Haoran. If you hadn't appeared in time, I would have died. Chu Yi looked at Chin Haoran gratefully, his voice full of emotion. Chin Haoran smiled and shook his head and said, you're welcome. It's incredible that you have reached this point in half a year. There are not many people on the Blue Star who can kill you. What? Half a year has passed. Chu Yi raised his head in confusion, a trace of surprise flashed in his eyes. Chin Haoran smiled and said to Chu Yi, I have barely cultivated to my current level in the past hundreds of years, and you have reached this point in just a short time. You have made rapid progress. Chu Yi, your strength has improved by leaps and bounds, but I suggest you stabilize it temporarily. Chin Haoran gave Chu Yi a deep look. Then he continued, you should feel the beauty of this world, don't fall into endless killing, and don't lose your true heart. Chu Yi looked at Chin Haoran quietly, his voice was full of doubts, and he asked softly, Brother Haoran, do you think this world is really beautiful? Chin Haoran smiled slightly and said calmly, of course, for me, this world is beautiful. Chu Yi frowned slightly, his voice full of helplessness, and continued to ask, why? There are so many civilians in the Dragon Kingdom who cannot awaken their powers, and they live under the shadow of death every day. Chin Haoran continued to explain. The reason why I feel beautiful is because I have strong power, I can easily face any threats, and I can freely pursue what I want, whether it is power, wealth or love. Chu Yi stared at Chin Haoran closely, with a firm light in his eyes, and said, Brother Haoran, the so-called beautiful world you mentioned is just a paradise in the minds of the strong. But we can't forget that not everyone, they all have the power and privileges of the strong. These are unattainable dreams for ordinary people. Don't you think this is bad? Chin Haoran smiled slightly, a trace of deep thought flashed in his eyes, and there was a unique confidence in his voice, as if he had seen through the true meaning of life. Chu Yi frowned and said firmly, no, what I pursue is that every person in the Dragon Kingdom can enjoy a beautiful world. Chu Yi, your childishness and innocence are touching, but the real world is cruel. Chin Haoran sighed deeply, his voice full of helplessness. In this world, there will be strong people. Weak people. If there are good people, there will be bad people, and if there is light, there will be darkness. Your wish for everyone to live a good life is impossible to realize. As long as the alien beasts are completely eliminated, and then all those with powers are suppressed with powerful force, and a fair management system is created, we can return to the world before the spiritual energy was revived. Chu Yi pursed his lips tightly, his eyes firm, there was determination and belief in his voice. Chin Haoran frowned, with confusion in his tone, and said, Chu Yi, you must understand that the guardian beast in your body is also a strange beast in nature. Are you prepared to put your guardian beast to death? Chu Yi was speechless. He fell into a deep silence. He couldn't refute Chin Haoran's words. He knew that Shao Shark was his guardian beast, but the nature of Shao Shark also belonged to the category of alien beasts. He also knew that Shao Shark was his guardian beast. How could you bear to put the little shark to death? This question echoed in his mind, leaving him with a difficult decision and a state of confusion. At this moment, Chu Yi's heart was filled with unquenchable anxiety and uneasiness. He felt as if his body was dominated by a powerful force and quickly turned into a shining black stream of light. Like a bolt of lightning, he transmigrated the clouds and arrived over the Arctic. Little wolf, show up immediately, Chu Yi shouted loudly. In an instant, a man with white hair like snow suddenly appeared in front of Chu Yi, mysterious and majestic as if he was born from the ice. Xiaolong bowed respectfully and said, Bing Wang, you are finally back. What are your orders? His voice was low, revealing his immense respect and loyalty to Chu Yi. Chu Yi asked calmly, how are my students? A smile appeared on Xiaolong's face and he said, back to Bing Wang, those students of yours have developed astonishingly, and their strength has increased by leaps and bounds during this period. Chu Yi nodded with satisfaction and said, very good. How many rank 9 beasts are there in the core of the Arctic now? Call them over to see me. There was a trace of determination in his eyes. Xiaolong respectfully replied. Ice King, in addition to me, there are 2 rank 9 alien beasts in the Arctic core, namely the rank 9 polar bear and the rank 9 Arctic eagle, but they are currently sleeping. Chu Yi nodded and said, since you are not here, then you can go down. Little Wolf saluted respectfully. I obey, Lord Ice King. A burning desire ignited in Chu Yi's heart. He knew that his strength was far from enough. Only by having a powerful force that could suppress the entire Blue Star could real peace be achieved. He desperately needs power. This desire has penetrated deep into his bones. As long as I can break through to rank 9, with my power, I am confident that the world will return to true tranquility and harmony because of me. Chu Yi's eyes were firm, and his heart was ignited with blazing enthusiasm. He took a deep breath, and in his chest determination burns like fire. He stared into the distance, his eyes shining with irrepressible light, as if he could penetrate the barriers of time and space and see the ideal future. After a while, Chu Yi stepped into the depths of the Arctic. In front of him were his 5 students. They had successfully broken through to rank 6, demonstrating their extraordinary talent and hard work. In the past 6 months, they have been constantly fighting against the Arctic beasts, and each time they have made continuous progress tempered by blood and sweat, and their strength can be said to have improved by leaps and bounds. And Qinliu's voice was full of confidence, and he shouted excitedly, Teacher, you are finally here. The other 4 people also showed happy expressions invariably, their faces filled with pride and pride. Chu Yi smiled and nodded, with satisfaction in his eyes, and said, very good, the 5 of you have reached rank 6, it's time to return to Yanjing College. Ruiyu's eyes were shining with wisdom at this moment, and he said to Chu Yi thoughtfully, Teacher Chu, why do we want to go back? I have an intuition that as long as we can practice here for 3 years, we may be able to break through to rank 7, become a high-level superpower. His voice revealed unwavering faith. Chu Yi looked at the 5 people with a smile, and he said happily, very good, you have this desire to become stronger, I am very pleased, but after a while, the 4 major colleges will jointly hold a special ability competition contest. What? Joint superpower competition? The 5 people exchanged looks in surprise. The superpower competition held jointly by the 4 major colleges turned out to be news they had never heard of. Chu Yi said calmly, okay, this news was just informed to me by Principal Long. Don't be surprised. The big competition jointly organized by the 4 major colleges is obviously to select the most outstanding talents. However, Chu Yi was disdainful of college competitions. In his mind, the students in the college were nothing more than a group of flowers in a greenhouse. An hour later, Chu Yi successfully returned to Yanjing College with his 5 students, while he himself came to the principal's office alone. When Chu Yi entered the principal's office, he was a little surprised to see 3 people sitting inside. Surprisingly, the person sitting on the main seat was Shangguan Lingwei, and her figure looked majestic and solemn. Long Xiao sat next to her and couldn't help showing a vigilant expression. And the last person turned out to be Anna. Chu Yi was extremely surprised by her arrival. He didn't expect to see her here. Anna shouted excitedly, Chu Yi, you are finally here. I have been looking for you for a long time. Her voice was full of excitement and expectation. Chu Yi ignored Anna, but stared at Shangguan Lingwei. He really didn't want to see this superior woman again. Shangguan Lingwei, why are you here? His eyes revealed his dissatisfaction with her, and doubts. Shangguan Lingwei's tone was full of pride and she said, Chu Yi, the entire Yanjing College belongs to my Shangguan family. Why do you think I can't be here? Chu Yi cast his eyes on Long Xiao, expecting to get some answers from him. Principal Long, can you tell me what happened? Shangguan Lingwei took over immediately and said, let me tell you. Why did you kick out all the students in class 1 of grade 3 you taught? And you only left 5 of them. There was a hint of tone in his tone. With a hint of arrogance. Of course it's because they are too weak and not worthy of my training. Chu Yi looked indifferent, and suddenly his eyes were sharp and cold, revealing an irresistible majesty. Also, Shangguan Lingwei, don't use this talk to me in such an arrogant tone, you may not be my opponent now. Shangguan Lingwei responded angrily. Chu Yi, please understand your current identity. You are just a tutor of Yanjing College now. There was a hint of dissatisfaction and warning in her voice. But Chu Yi said without fear, Then I now unilaterally announce that from this moment on, I will no longer serve as the tutor of the Department of Supernatural Powers of Yanjing College. His words revealed a decisive and unshakable determination. Shengguan Lingwei asked angrily, "You, Chu Yi, why do you go against me everywhere?" Her voice was full of anger and confusion. Chu Yi smiled slightly, his eyes suddenly showed a hint of coldness, and responded calmly, "In your eyes, those without status and strength are like ants, and I don't like it very much." Shengguan Lingwei retorted angrily, "The world is like this is not a reason, and..." "Okay, no need to say more, the conversation with you is over." Chu Yi interrupted her mercilessly, and a cold voice sounded, "We will see you again." After saying that, Chu Yi strode out of the principal's office, with Anna following closely behind. "Anna, why are you following me?" Chu Yi asked doubtfully. Anna replied with admiration in her eyes, "Because I like you." Her voice was full of sincerity and determination. Chu Yi frowned in confusion and said, "Why do you like me? After all, we have only been together for 2 days." He tried to figure out her motives. Anna's eyes were full of admiration and she said firmly, "Because you are handsome, strong, brave, and kind at heart." When Chu Yi heard these words, he felt a deep confusion in his heart. He suddenly displayed the transformation of the god-killing sword, and mercilessly drew a sword mark on his cheek. The sword edge cut through the skin, and a wound started from above Chu Yi's left eyebrow and extended to his chin. Bright red blood spurted out, like a flame blooming on his face, outlining a sharp and wild mark. Chu Yi said calmly, "Do you still like me now?" Anna stared at Chu Yi, her eyes flashed with surprise, carefully observing every detail of him, and said, "Chu Yi, but, you seem to be more handsome and unrestrained now than before." Chu Yi took a deep breath, and the sword marks on his face instantly recovered without a trace. He said in a low voice, "Anna, you'd better go back to the Bear Country." His tone revealed determination. Anna asked in confusion, "Why? I don't want to go back." Her brows wrinkled slightly, expressing her confusion about the implicit message in Chu Yi's words. "Don't you know, your father, the great emperor of Shang country, doesn't want you to get close to me. My current situation is very dangerous, and it will be dangerous to follow me." Chu Yi's eyes revealed a trace of confusion and helplessness, which made people feel the entanglements and contradictions in their hearts. Anna's eyes flashed with determination, and she said firmly, "So what? I have a light attribute, I can protect you." There was a trace of perseverance between Chu Yi's brows, as if he had unspeakable firm belief, and he said coldly, "You are just a burden, you don't know what I want to do." After saying that, Chu Yi turned into a black stream of light, quickly flew to the west of the Dragon Kingdom, and Anna followed closely behind without letting up. Soon, Chu Yi came to the vast desert area in the west of the Dragon Kingdom. The vast area of the desert was amazing. Chu Yi said to himself excitedly, "Very good, the area here is more than enough." Anna asked in confusion, "Chu Yi, what are you doing here?" "There is nothing here, just a desolate desert." Chu Yi turned a deaf ear and instantly displayed his water and wood attributes. Countless tall logs rise quickly from the ground in the desert, like huge hands of the earth, majestic and strong. These trees quickly formed solid houses, like protective fortresses in the desert. Water flowed out of Chu Yi's palm, nourishing the wood, not only making them more stable and reliable, but also bringing a hint of life. Chu Yi felt troubled. Looking at the vast desert, he thought worriedly, "There is not enough water in such a large desert. There are no natural deserts in the world. Deserts are land products formed due to uneven distribution of local water resources. Given enough water, they will transform into sandy land." Therefore, Chu Yi released his water attribute power without hesitation, and endless water flow continuously merged into the desert. Time seems to have become extremely long. Finally, the desert and the small town began to change, slowly transforming into sandy land. Chu Yi felt a surge of joy in his heart, and he said in surprise, "Great. Finally succeeded. The scene in front of you shows many wooden houses entangled with vines, as if nature embraces them and makes them more vibrant. On the deserted land, this town exudes a breath of life, like an oasis in the desert." Anna's voice was full of confusion and doubts, her eyes widened in shock, and she said, "Chu Yi, what is your purpose of building this desert town?" "No, this is not just a small town, it represents my hope. Chu Yi shook his head, and then his eyes became extremely serious. I hope this town can continue to expand in the future and become a city larger than Chisha City. I want a huge city. This will be the beginning of my dream. Chu Yi, is your dream to build a house? Anna stared at Chu Yi blankly, her mouth slightly opened. Of course not. Chu Yi's forehead was instantly filled with black lines, and his head collapsed on Anna's head. Chu Yi, why did you hit me? Isn't your dream to build a house? Anna's head hurt. Seeing Anna's silly face, Chu Yimin's forehead was full of black lines and he said seriously, you should leave quickly and go back to your bear country. With your IQ, this place is really not suitable for you. No, I will follow you. Anna showed no sign of weakness. Tell me, do you need my help? I can definitely help you. Chu Yi felt quite helpless. For this persistent Anna, he could only smile bitterly and said, Anna, if you are really willing to help me, then go to the wasteland area. Find those people who live a difficult life and bring them to the desert. Small town. That's exactly why I built this desert town. Anna was stunned. She finally knew Chu Yi's true purpose. He actually intended to take in the civilians in the wasteland. This behavior deeply shocked Anna's heart. In an instant, Anna's admiration for Chu Yi reached its peak in her heart. I finally understand, Chu Yi. Anna's voice revealed deep love and understanding. As soon as her words landed, her figure instantly turned into a stream of light, quickly flew into the distance and disappeared without a trace. She finally left. This guy is so difficult to deal with. Chu Yi breathed a sigh of relief and felt deeply in his heart. Although Anna had a good figure and good looks, she was just a little stupid. Forget it, let's not worry about this anymore. Chu Yi put these troubles behind and focused on continuing to promote the transformation of the desert town. The scope of the town was constantly expanding. At this moment, in the sky of the Japanese city of Osaka, Fatty stood on a fluffy cloud. Haha, Brother Monkey's somersault cloud has actually been awakened. It's incredible. Fatty laughed excitedly. You guys from the Japanese country, your grandpa Zoo is here. I saw the golden cudgel in the fat man's hand gradually expanding, becoming larger and larger, filled with an endless sense of oppression. All the strength in his body was gathered at this moment, and he suddenly swung the golden cudgel and smashed it towards Osaka City. You little Japan, try the power of Grandpa Zoo's transcendent stick. The fat man roared loudly and boldly. At this time, among the Japanese people in Osaka City, they were surprised to find the huge golden hoop. What on earth is this? There is such a huge stick in the world. They couldn't help but shout wildly. Run away. This big stick is going to come down. The Japanese people shouted in fear. They ran desperately because the huge club was flying towards them. Run quickly, it's about to fall. They screamed one after another. The hearts of the Japanese people were beating rapidly. Facing the huge golden hoop, only one thought echoed in their minds. This stick is too big, run. However, everything was irreversible. The huge golden cudgel struck Osaka City like a tiger, causing a loud noise. There was a loud bang sound, and countless high-rise buildings collapsed instantly. Countless Japanese people were powerless to fight back under the impact of this ruthless giant stick, as if they were torn apart by invisible force. They fell silently in a pool of blood, and the whole scene seemed like the end of the world. The fat man was so excited that he said to himself, ha ha ha, Brother Chu really didn't lie to me, the Rui Golden Cudgel is indeed the city-destroying divine weapon. Who are you? You are not Chu Yi. A deafening roar suddenly came from the sky. The fat man responded without showing any signs of weakness, Chu Yi is my eldest brother. I am Qin Tianju, and I am nicknamed Yiju Qingtian. His voice was as powerful as thunder. The fat man stared at the other party sharply and said fiercely, you little Japanese dwarf, how dare you come to stop your Grandpa Zoo? This man was wearing a Japanese costume and had a short stature. He shouted angrily, I am a supernatural being from the Heavenly Sovereign Society. How dare you, a fat man, come to my city of Osaka to massacre civilians and seek death? His roar was full of anger and threats. Ha ha, great, great. The fat man opened his mouth wide and laughed so hard that his stomach trembled. Heavenly Sovereign knows it. Sure enough, it is you who know Heavenly Sovereign. Let me, Grandpa Fat Zoo, beat you to death today. Scumbag. Try your grandfather Zoo's move, the dog beating stick technique. The fat man held the golden cudgel tightly and struck hard at the Japanese dwarf without hesitation. The golden cudgel fluttered in Fatty's hand like a whirlwind. Unfortunately, this little Japanese dwarf was too weak and was killed by Fatty Che in just one move. The fat man raised his eyebrows disdainfully. That's it. Isn't this too weak? After saying that, he grabbed the golden cudgel without hesitation and continued to wreak havoc in Osaka City. Every swing brought an earth-shaking powerful force, and the sticks were smashed down one after another, causing countless vibrations. Every blow made the ground tremble, buildings collapsed, and streets turned into ruins. He seemed to have become a peerless god of war. The ground beneath his feet trembled for him, and the sky shook for him. At this moment, Chu Yi encountered a small obstacle. Standing in front of him was a mysterious and demonic man, wearing a golden robe, with sharp eyes like a poisonous scorpion. The man's blonde hair shines all over, and he exudes a sinister and vicious aura, as if he is a messenger from the desert. Chu Yi asked doubtfully, "Who are you?" "I am not a human being, I am a rank 9 sand scorpion. This desert is my territory, and I am the master of this desert." The man sneered, with a hint of pride in his voice. "You must be Bing Wang Chui. Why do you want to invade my territory?" "Haha, you actually know me. Then you should know that I built this city for the survival of mankind." There was a hint of solemnity at the corner of Chu Yi's mouth. "Ice King, no matter what your purpose is, you have already broken into my territory." Sand Scorpion frowned, with a hint of coldness in his eyes, and a sinister and vicious tone in his voice. "Now, I give you the last chance, leave immediately. I can pretend that nothing has happened." "What if I don't leave?" Chu Yi raised his eyebrows slightly, his eyes were firm and cold, and there was a hint of provocation in his voice. "Then we have to fight to solve it." Sand Scorpion's eyes flashed evilly, and there was a viciousness in his voice. Chu Yi sneered, with a sarcastic arc at the corner of his mouth, and his figure instantly moved like lightning. The punch was thrown out so fast that the Sand Scorpion couldn't react in time, and it instantly exploded the Sand Scorpion into pieces, with the pieces flying in the air. However, what is unexpected is that the Sand Scorpion is slowly recovering to its original state, and the innocent smile reappears on its face. Chu Yi said with some surprise, "What are you?" "Desert immortality." Sand Scorpion proudly said to Chu Yi, "Ice King, I am invincible in the desert. Don't waste your efforts." As soon as Sand Scorpion finished speaking, Chu Yi was quickly submerged by a billowing cloud of sand and dust. The particles poured into his surroundings like a heavy rain, tightly surrounding his body, like countless ants squirming on his body. He felt the sand and dust coming from all directions. The pressure of the sand grains seemed to be that the entire desert was pressing on him. Every inch of his skin seemed to be squeezed tightly by invisible forces. However, Chu Yi smiled calmly, with a playful light shining in his eyes. "Sand Scorpion, is that all you have?" Sand Scorpion roared angrily, "You, Ice King Chu Yi, how could your body be so terrifying?" His voice was full of shock and disbelief. Chu Yi trembled all over, and all the sand that bound him around him shook away, and he said lightly, "Sand Scorpion, can we have a good talk now?" "HMPH. Sand Scorpion snorted coldly and said, "What's there to say? The desert is my territory. Am I afraid of you?" Chu Yi frowned slightly, a hint of indifference flashed in his eyes, and said, "Then there is no need to talk." "Very good, then I will use my strength to teach you. As a strange beast, you must know how to be humble." Quote, "The secret of extreme ice, absolute zero." Chu Yi's body surged with an astonishing power of extreme ice, as if the ice god had descended into the world, and the surrounding area instantly became bitingly cold and filled with cold air. Sand Scorpion smiled confidently, with endless confidence shining in his eyes. "Ice King, don't forget, this is a desert, how can you be my opponent?" Chu Yi sneered, looked at Sand Scorpion with his eyes jokingly, and said, "That's not necessarily true. Little Scorpion." He waved his hand, and the evil spirit spread like billowing black mist, instantly invading Sand Scorpion's body. Sand Scorpion's whole body began to tremble violently at this moment. The terrifying feeling as if it was being bitten by thousands of small insects made it almost lose control. It exclaimed and said, What is this? This power can kill me." Chu Yi sneered, his voice full of joking. His eyes swept across Sand Scorpion's body sharply, and said, "Now, can we have a good talk?" Sand Scorpion instantly became timid and said in a trembling voice, Ice King, don't kill me. If you have any requests, just say them. I will definitely try my best to satisfy you. From now on, this desert will belong to me, and it will become my territory. Chu Yi narrowed his eyes coldly. As for you, you have my evil spirit hidden in your body, and I can end your life at any time. From now on, listen to my orders. Chu Yi's voice revealed a majesty that could not be ignored. He looked down at Sand Scorpion, coldly and decisively. So, do you agree or disagree? His eyes were fixed on Sand Scorpion, waiting for an answer. I agree, I agree. Sand Scorpion's voice trembled. He really had to surrender. Chu Yi was capable of killing him. Very good. Chu Yi nodded solemnly, his eyes shining with satisfaction. He slowly raised his head and glanced at the Sand Scorpion, with a hint of cold warning in his voice. From now on, you will be responsible for the security of the desert city. In the future, many people will choose to settle here, and their life safety will become your task. If someone encounters any accident, then you will bear the unshakable responsibility, so don't blame me for being rude. There was an unquestionable majesty in his words. Sand Scorpion nodded tremblingly, yes. I am willing to obey your orders and protect the safety of this place. Sand Scorpion was terrified at the moment. Its life was now in Chu Yi's hands and it had to obey. At this moment, in a dark and chaotic space, a tall man stood with sharp eyes and domineering gaze, wearing a military green robe. His momentum is as strong as a mountain, exuding extremely strong domineering power. This person is Xiao Tianju, the commander-in-chief of the special forces with special abilities. Boom, boom, boom. Countless waves of invisible and powerful pressure hit him, making him feel a lot of pressure. Xuanyuan Yi, Feng Qingyan, Lin Shaoqi, can you three continue to persevere? Xuanyuan Yi replied without hesitation. Boss Xiao, I can still persist. Me too. Feng Qingyan nodded without any sign of weakness. Lin Shaoqi complained slightly helplessly. Boss Xiao, when will this end? Xiao Tianju took a deep breath and said seriously. This space crack has existed for 300 years, and in recent years, its expansion rate has become faster and faster. So far, no one can explain what this phenomenon is. No one knows what is hidden behind this crack. At this time, the energy in the space crack became more and more turbulent like a huge wave. Xiao Tianju felt unprecedented pressure, as if the entire space was trembling. This space explosion was more violent and powerful than before. Xiao Tianju frowned tightly, his eyes shone with perseverance. He took a deep breath, his voice revealed no doubt, and ordered, Xuanyuan Yi, Feng Qingyan, Lin Shaoqi, suppress with all your strength. Xuanyuan Yi couldn't help but mutter, why is this space riot so strong? Feng Qingyan replied without hesitation, don't worry about it for now. We must go all out to suppress the space riot. Lin Shaoqi clenched his fists tightly and said firmly, that's right. Try your best. Hey, Lao Xiao, Xiao Yi, Yan, Xiao Qi. Are you okay? At this critical moment, a light and familiar voice suddenly came. Xiao Tianju's face immediately became angry, and he shouted angrily, you still have the nerve to come back. Qin Heoran, don't you see that there is a riot in the space in front of you? Come here and help. Qin Heoran responded with a wry smile, okay. You Xiao Tianju has already spoken, so I will help you once. In an instant, Qin Heoran resolutely joined the ranks of suppressing the space riot, and he rushed in like a bolt of lightning battlefield. After a long half-day, the space riot gradually subsided. Xiao Tianju stared at Qin Heoran closely, his eyes full of anger, and said, Qin Heoran, why do you want to come back? Why do you have the nerve to come back? You gave up the country and your identity. Qin Heoran smiled calmly and said, Xiao Tianju, don't be so angry. I'm just pursuing freedom. Xiao Tianju gritted his teeth and said, freedom. Then since you have given up everything, why do you want to come back? Qin Heoran said seriously, because I see hope. Xiao Tianju couldn't help but let out a burst of ridicule, his eyes flashed with determination, ha. Hope, even if there is hope, it has nothing to do with you. You were not the future of the Dragon Kingdom, but what did you do? You gave up everything, you escaped everything. In an instant, the Tianju sword in his hand was like a flash of light, turning into countless streams of light and stabbing Qin Haoran sharply. Qin Haoran frowned slightly. He reacted quickly and dodged Xiao Tianju's attack in an instant. Old Xiao, why bother to do it? Can't we sit down and have a good talk? There was a hint of helplessness in his tone. However, Xiao Tianju did not give in. His eyes flashed with firm belief, and his sword energy surged like a violent storm, intertwining and colliding with Qin Haoran's flames. You and I have nothing to talk about. You shouldn't come back. Xiao Tianju's voice was full of anger, and his sword energy burst out with an even stronger light, forming a fierce confrontation with Qin Haoran's flames. Qin Haoran's eyes showed a trace of helplessness and heartache, and he said, Xiao Tianju, after so many years, why are you still so old-fashioned? On the road of life, only by adapting to changes can you be invincible. The current situation is different from the past, and I've seen new hope. However, Xiao Tianju's heart had become completely indifferent. Ha ha ha, ha 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 ha. He looked up to the sky and laughed, his laughter filled with endless pain. It's because of you. Do you know how much I have to bear? You selfish guy. Xiao Tianju's eyes suddenly became sharp, and his sword energy became more fierce, as if he was going to completely defeat Qin Haoran. Qin Haoran grinned. Old Xiao, it seems that you have to let me teach you a lesson in person before you can sit down and talk properly. As soon as he finished speaking, a blazing flaming power surged into his arm, forming he fired a red lotus explosive flame blade, the power of the fire demon, the red lotus explosive flame blade. Just come, Qin Haoran. You sinner who gave up everything. At the same time, Xiao Tianju roared angrily, and the sword in his hand burst out with a strong sword intent, condensing into a terrifying sword intent, Tianju sword intent, Ju Tian sword slash. The two fierce attacks met in an instant, and the violent power of the sword light and the flames intertwined like the roars of two ancient ferocious beasts, creating an extremely terrifying scene. The collision of sword light and raging flames triggered an extremely powerful aftermath, which was like a frenzy, sweeping everything around. The entire space was filled with the aura of sword light and flames, as if in a blazing battlefield. Xuanyuan Yi exclaimed. The two of them are so strong. This is too outrageous. They are both rank 9 superpowers. But they are so strong. Feng Qingyun smiled calmly and said, of course, Xiao Tianju and Qin Haoran are the first awakened ones, and their strength has already surpassed rank 9 superpowers. Lin Shaoqi couldn't help but lick his lips, his eyes flashed with envy and yearning, and said, tisk tisk. When will we be as strong as the two of them? The sword light and the fierce flames intertwined into a magnificent picture, confronting each other as if they were irreconcilable forces between heaven and earth. Qin Haoran took a deep breath, tried to stay calm, and said, Xiao Tianju, let's stop and talk. After all, we were good brothers once. Xiao Tianju sneered, with a flash of disdain in his eyes, talk. Impossible. Qin Haoran, do you think I will forgive you? What you did is unforgivable. Xiao Tianju, don't force me to show my true feelings. Qin Haoran frowned, anger igniting in his heart. Xiao Tianju's face was as cold as ice, and he responded mercilessly, I'm not forcing you, but considering your help in suppressing the space riot this time, you can leave. His words revealed showing a hint of indifference and ruthlessness. From now on, I never want to see you again. Xiao Tianju turned around and decided not to face Qin Haoran again. There was a hint of despair and disappointment in his eyes. 3 days passed quickly, and the desert city gradually took shape. Chu Yi's heart was filled with excitement because he could finally start his peace plan. He is determined to take in every civilian in the Dragon Kingdom wasteland so that they will no longer be harmed by strange beasts every day. To this end, Chu Yi used his wood clone and water clone to continuously expand the boundaries of the city and make the city wider. Standing in the center of the desert city, Chu Yi felt an extremely solemn atmosphere. The towering giant trees in front of us exude a leisurely atmosphere of life. Its tall trunk is winding with lush branches and leaves, like a green sky, giving people a sense of tranquility and peace of mind. The sun shines through the gaps in the leaves, forming spots of light and shadow, making the whole city full of life and vitality. Chu Yi thought that the previously built house was a little too fragile, so he made some renovations to give it a brand new look. Now, the other trees surrounding the giant tree have become part of the city, and each sub-tree has its own unique space, as if it was specially designed to meet people's residential needs. Chu Yi's idea allowed these trees to be interconnected with the giant tree reaching the sky, forming a powerful defense system. This design brings huge benefits. As long as the mother tree is not destroyed, other sub-trees cannot be destroyed. Their lives are intertwined and they thrive together. To put it simply, as long as the residents here don't go out, no one can harm them unless the enemy gets rid of Chu Yi. Whether in terms of vitality or architectural structure, this city has unparalleled strong defense capabilities. However, just as Chu Yi was thinking, a voice full of excitement and joy suddenly came from a distance. It was Anna who was back. Chu Yi, I'm back. Look, I brought so many people. Her voice was full of excitement. Chu Yi stared at the thousands of people following Anna behind him. Their ragged clothes and haggard faces revealed the hardship of living in this wasteland. These people are obviously used to difficult living conditions. Chu Yi raised his head, took a deep breath, and then said in a steady voice, Anna, you did a great job. His eyes were full of admiration and encouragement, feeling the hard work and struggle of these people, and he was proud of them. Chu Yi looked around at the people in front of him, with a strong sadness surging in his heart, and said slowly, Hello fellow citizens, I am Chu Yi. His voice was full of firm belief and determination, echoing around him. Today, I brought you to this land to give you a new home, a place no longer invaded by alien beasts, a world without death. Chu Yi's words were like the spring breeze blowing on his face, warm in everyone's heart. The originally lifeless expressions of these people gradually exuded a glimmer of hope, and they seemed to be ignited to life like walking zombies, and they began to slowly respond to Chu Yi's voice. Suddenly, a ragged middle-aged man appeared in the crowd. He looked at Chu Yi with piercing eyes and said in a trembling voice, This is true. Miss Anna did not lie to us. Suddenly, cheers broke out. Great, we can finally escape the suffering of the past. Oh, what a pity. So many of us have died under the claws of alien beasts. It would be great if we could have this opportunity earlier. Some people even shed tears for a while. Chu Yi took a deep breath and felt the expectations and confidence of everyone. He knew in his heart that he could not live up to this trust. I, Chu Yi, promise. I will do my best to protect everyone and create a new home for you. His voice was firm and impassioned, as if a majestic force was supporting him behind him. Spark City is officially established today. Chu Yi announced loudly and energetically. He puffed up his chest and his voice resounded through the sky, full of lofty ideals. A single spark can start a prairie fire. I firmly believe that as long as we work unremittingly, those our compatriots who are troubled by the wasteland will finally have a happy life. They will no longer be constantly afraid and no longer face the threat of death. Then, Chu Yi looked at Anna with a smile, his tone filled with trust and expectation. Anna, I'll leave the placement of these people to you. A faint blush instantly bloomed on Anna's face, and she felt immense joy in her heart. Chu Yi needs her and her help. I'll deal with it immediately. Anna responded excitedly. The settlement work progressed steadily, every detail was carefully arranged by Anna, and everything went smoothly. After a while, Chu Yi came to his room in the center of Spark City. He sat cross-legged and concentrated on running the primordial origin Wuji Kung Fu, constantly refining the physical core in his body. As time went by, Chu Yi, who possessed the powerful physique of the god-killing demonic body and the super vitality of the origin body, began to slowly become more powerful, although the speed of this change was very slow. My physical body can continue to grow stronger. Primordial origin Wuji Kung Fu is simply unbelievable. Chu Yi's heart was filled with surprise and disbelief, and his eyes were shining with excitement. He could feel that his body was strengthening, surpassing what he had been before. This change gave him an unprecedented feeling. After a long time, Chu Yi's cross-legged state with eyes closed was suddenly broken, and he suddenly opened his eyes. His eyes shone with surprise, and he couldn't help but exclaimed, it turned out to be a derivative of primordial origin Wuji Kung Fu. The body refining technique of thousands of hammers and hundreds of refinements allows people to temper themselves into an indestructible body by constantly beating themselves. Every blow is a baptism for the body, a test of the flesh, making it stronger and more powerful. In short, this method uses beating as a medium to gradually strengthen the body in pain and reach the ultimate level of physical strength. Chu Yi frowned, thinking doubtfully in his heart, in my current state, How can I practice this skill that has been tempered for thousands of times? Do you want me to be beaten? But, who can really beat me and hurt me? Suddenly, one person flashed through Yi's mind, and that was Fatty's Rui golden cudgel. You must know that Fatty's current strength is already extraordinary. Very good, Fatty, it's you. A hint of surprise flashed in Yi's eyes, and he decided without hesitation. Yi immediately contacted Fatty, and after a short wait, he finally heard Fatty's voice. The fat man stood lightly in the air, stepping on a fluffy white cloud, and shouted excitedly, Brother Chu. Did you create a forest city by yourself? Yi looked at the clouds at Fatty's feet and said in surprise, Fatty, is this a somersault cloud? Haha, of course, this is Brother Monkey's somersault cloud. The fat man laughed proudly. Yi didn't want to waste any more time and said directly, okay, no more nonsense, come with me. Half an hour later, in the sparsely populated desert nearby, Yi stared at the fat man closely and said, take out your golden cudgel and hit me. The fat man asked in confusion, Brother Chu, are you okay? You want me to beat you with a golden cudgel? Yi smiled lightly and said, don't talk nonsense, I have practiced a new skill now, the kind that makes you stronger after being beaten. The fat man suddenly realized, tisk, tisk, tisk. You become stronger after being beaten. That's it, Brother Chu, don't cry out that it hurts. The fat man's figure flashed, and the golden cudgel appeared in his hand, flashing with a formidable golden light. He raised the golden cudgel without mercy and hit Yi's body hard. There was a bang, but Yi braced himself to face the blow. Yi raised the corner of his mouth and said, Fat man, can you do it? You haven't eaten. Try harder. The fat man watched Yi's unconcerned expression. He decided to attack with all his strength, waving the golden cudgel and attacking Yi instantly as if at lightning speed. Yeah, Yi groaned, finally feeling the pain. Very good. Just continue like this, continue. Yi's eyes flashed with excitement. In this way, Yi was continuously hit by the Rui golden cudgel in the fat man's hand. Every blow from the stick seemed to be like a golden light hitting Yi's body, causing unbearable pain. However, Yi did not moan. He silently endured every blow. Every stroke of the stick was like a fiery furnace, baptizing his whole body. Although repeated practice will not yield any results in the short term, the most important thing is that it can not only continuously enhance the endurance and strength of the body, but also sharpen the mind. Every blow was a test of Yi's willpower, and he always maintained a tenacious attitude. Just when Yi and Fatty were concentrating on practicing, a shocking change suddenly occurred. A huge battleship appeared in the sky. It slowly descended from the sky, as if it surpassed the technological level of Blue Star. It was unbelievable. The battleship was emitting a flame-like light, and had obviously suffered a fatal attack, and was falling in the direction of Yi and Fatty. Yi stared at the space battleship dumbfounded, his heart filled with shock. Is this an interstellar battleship? Are there still interstellar battleships in this world? The fat man swung his fat body and asked with a smile, Brother Chu, what should we do now? It's about to be smashed down. Yi's eyes were determined, and a confident smile appeared at the corner of his mouth. Don't worry, I have a way. A minute later, just as the battleship was about to fall, time seemed to have stagnated, and Yi suddenly activated the wood attribute power in his body. A powerful energy spread from his body, and instantly, huge wooden slats erupted from the depths of the ground, as if they were springing out from the depths of the earth. These huge wooden bars were entangled together, like a pair of solid arms, firmly anchoring the battleship and slowly landing it on the ground. The whole process was like a miracle. Yi stared at the fat man with deep curiosity in his eyes and said, Let's go find out what happened inside this battleship. The fat man nodded silently and followed closely. After a while, Yi and Fatty stepped onto the deck of the battleship. What they saw in front of them was a scene full of high technology, which was completely different from the technology on Blue Star. A young man appeared in Yi's sight. His pale skin and pointed ears made people guess his identity. Obviously, he was not a resident of Blue Star. Yi couldn't help but stepped closer, stared at the young man sharply, and asked curiously, Who are you? No, what kind of creature are you? The sharp-eared man in front of him was staring at Yi in confusion, as if he couldn't understand his language. He tapped his fingers lightly on the machine, visually collecting information about the world. After a while, he finally spoke. Hello, distinguished Lord of Superpowers, I am Labas from the planet Ram, please save us. We are being hunted by the evil forces of the universe. His voice was full of anxiety and despair. Chu Yi watched Labas vigilantly. Aliens suddenly descended from the sky, which inevitably made people suspicious. Labas, right, tell me your true purpose, or I will kill you. There was suspicion and a trace of murderous intent in his tone. Labas suddenly broke out in a cold sweat. Why did this man want to kill him as soon as he met him? He hurriedly explained. Dear Superpower, I swear to you that I am not lying. I just want to ask for your help. It was our battleship that led us here. It told us that there are people here who can fight against the evil forces. There was a trace of helplessness and sincerity in his voice. Chu Yi's eyes were fixed on the alien Labas, and he said calmly, Okay. I want to ask you some questions. How far is Ram Star from Blue Star? How many survivors are there on your battleship? Also, which evil force is chasing you? Facing Chu Yi's inquiry, Labas replied respectfully. Dear Lord of Superpowers, our Ram Star is located outside the Blue Star, 15,300 light-years away. And on our battleship, now I was the only one left, the other companions died on the way. Labas sighed deeply and continued to explain. As for the evil forces that are chasing us, they are the demon race, one of the overlords in the universe, and countless civilizations cannot escape their control. Chu Yi's eyes widened in shock and he said, It's unbelievable. How did you get to Blue Star at a distance of 15,300 light-years? Labas' face was full of pride, and he replied respectfully, We relied on the space navigation capabilities of the interstellar battleships to come to Blue Star. After tens of thousands of years of scientific and technological progress on our Ram Star, we relied on the continuous research in technology has resulted in the ability to cross star battleships now. Chu Yi frowned in confusion and asked, Oh. Since your technological power is so powerful, why are you still being chased by the evil demon race? His voice was full of curiosity. Labas sighed and explained helplessly. On our planet Ram, although we have powerful technology, we do not have superpowers. The evil demon race is born with great strength. Almost every demon they are all powerful people. There was a hint of helplessness in his tone, as if he was telling an unchangeable fact. Labas paused and continued to explain. There are even some powerful demons who can physically travel across the universe at speeds exceeding the speed of light to hunt us down. His voice revealed his admiration for the powerful strength of the evil demon race. Unbearable pressure. Demon. It can't be the ice demon I killed, right? Although its strength is average, it can't be underestimated. Chu Yi frowned and couldn't help but guess. He turned to Labas and asked, Then how do you plan to solve this problem? Labas implored urgently. Please save me, your distinguished Lord of Superpowers. Chu Yi smiled calmly and said, Save you? Why should I do this? Otherwise, give me your interstellar battleship. Sir, it's not a good idea for you to make such a joke. Labas waved his hand quickly and said helplessly, If the interstellar battleship is given to you, how can we return to Ram Planet? Okay, in fact, there is another solution. Chu Yi raised his eyebrows and said lazily, As long as you can meet one of my requirements, I am willing to help you. Labas said with joy, Dear Lord of Superpowers, please tell me your request. Chu Yi took a deep breath and said in a serious tone, Have you heard of the Japanese country? Labas tapped the instrument next to him, and after a moment, the information about the Japanese country was displayed on the screen. The Japanese country is just a small country on the Blue Star. It is nicknamed the Sabi Kingdom because the ruler is from the Sabi family. Patriarch. Labas nodded slightly and asked in a calm tone, Master Superpower, is there any problem with Japan? Chu Yi showed a cold smile and said, Now that you have understood the existence of the Japanese country, it will be easier to handle. As long as you use your interstellar battleship to completely destroy the Japanese country, I promise to help you. What does this mean? Labas was confused for a moment. Destroying a country. In the center of Spark City, in a spacious room, light shines through the huge windows, reflecting a gorgeous light. Chu Yi, Fatty, the alien Labas, and Anna all gathered here. Chu Yi's voice was full of expectation and he asked, Labas, when will your star battleship be repaired? Mr. Chu Yi, you can rest assured that our interstellar battleship has a powerful liquid metal repair system. Labas smiled slightly, his foreign eyes flashing with a strange light. The system will automatically start the repair process. According to my estimation, it will take another month. There was confidence in his voice. Chuyi said to Labas with a deep look, Labas, you first find a place to live in Spark City and settle down. Come back 1 month later to fulfill your promise. His voice was firm and powerful. Labas suddenly showed a grateful smile. Okay, Mr. Chuyi. Then he walked towards the door. Chuyi was looking forward to it at this moment, waiting for the arrival of others with great expectation. After a while, they finally arrived. Zheng Xin appeared together with his father Zheng Dao, accompanied by Nangong Shirong. However, Chuyi couldn't help but frown because he saw someone he didn't want to see again, Shangguan Lingwei. His mood instantly became complicated. Shangguan Lingwei, why are you here? Chuyi was slightly angry and frowned slightly. Chuyi, your talents and actions have been widely known. Shangguan Lingwei smiled faintly, with a sharp light in his eyes. You actually built such a special city in an uninhabited land. It is really unbelievable. I'm here to invest in your city and make it more prosperous. There was confidence in her voice. Chuyi snorted coldly, with a trace of disdain flashing in his eyes. This is my territory and I don't need your investment. You should leave immediately. His tone was full of unquestionable attitude. At this moment, Nangong Shirong stood up resolutely, her voice with a firm attitude, and said, Chuyi, please stop arguing with Ling Wei, she has been like this since she was a child. Shangguan Lingwei sneered and said, Ha, Chuyi, I really don't understand why you always target me so deliberately. I just told some facts before, can't you stand it? This world is originally about the jungle, don't you? Don't you understand yet? HMPH, are you teaching me how to do things? Chuyi snorted coldly, then mocked, are you sure you can beat me now? The quarrel between Chuyi and Shangguan Lingwei became more and more intense, as if a fierce duel might break out at any time. A dark evil aura suddenly appeared on Chuyi's body, and the god-killing spear instantly appeared, exuding a heart-stopping murderous aura. At the same time, a huge real dragon shadow suddenly appeared in the sky behind Shangguan Lingwei. The dragon shadow was majestic and mighty, like the overlord of heaven and earth. The atmosphere of the confrontation between the two was like a bow over the moon, and the battle was about to break out. Stop, everyone, stop arguing. Anna took a decisive step, and the momentum of the two people immediately dissipated. Chuyi was stunned, not expecting Anna to stand up at this time. But even if a fight breaks out, Chuyi is absolutely confident that he can beat Shangguan Lingwei violently. Anna stared at Shangguan Lingwei closely and said, Shangguan Lingwei, you'd better leave. Chuyi doesn't like you, and now, I don't like you either. Shangguan Lingwei asked in surprise, Anna, why? I brought you to the Dragon Kingdom. Because I like Chuyi, you'd better go. Anna said without hesitation, let the farce end here. HMPH, let's wait and see. Shangguan Lingwei snorted coldly, turned and left. Chuyi, this world has been dominated by the weak and the strong since ancient times. The strong trample the weak under their feet. This is a law that will never change. She left a sentence lingering in the air. Nonsense. Chuyi was not moved by these words, his eyes revealed firm determination. After a period of silence, several people finally sat down and began to study matters related to Spark City. Zheng Xin's family is wealthy, and the Nangong family is a wealthy family with strong strength. Therefore, these two companies are responsible for the living supply of Spark City, which is definitely more than enough. But they can't let the two of them do this in vain. Chuyi said thoughtfully, Uncle Zheng, Miss Nangong, I wonder what compensation you need here. Zheng Dao narrowed his eyes, showed a gentle smile, and said, Xiao Yi, I know that you are my son's good friend, and your current behavior is a good thing that benefits the country and the people. It is impossible for me to accept any reward. Nangong Shirong also laughed and said, I have decided to settle in Spark City, so the reward is no longer important to me. However, the fat man stared at Nangong Shirong with his eyes wide open at this moment, and said in surprise, What? You actually want to settle in Spark City? What about Dongli City? Nangong Shirong stared deeply at the fat man, raised a smile at the corner of her mouth, and said softly, What? I came to settle in Spark City, aren't you happy? Huh. The fat man felt a cold sweat falling from his forehead and stuttered in reply, okay, happy. Of course I am happy. Chu Yi looked at the fat man's embarrassment, interrupted their conversation, showed a smile on his face, and said firmly, Uncle Zhang, Miss Nangong, you are not willing to accept my reward, but I must give it, this is my principles. He quickly reached into the space ring and took out the alien beast crystal nuclei. There are countless these crystal nuclei, piled up like a hill, higher than a person's height. Zheng Dao and Nangong Shirong could not resist Chu Yi's persuasion, and finally reluctantly accepted these alien beast crystal nuclei. After a few people left, Spark City's supply problem was finally solved. Chu Yi stayed alone in his room and shouted excitedly, great! Spark City is finally stable now. At this moment, Anna suddenly broke into Chu Yi's room, her eyes full of tenderness and concern. She said, Chu Yi, actually I can help you. Our Shang country still has a lot of resources, there is no need to ask others for help. There was a hint of distress in her voice. Chu Yi raised his head, looked at Anna firmly, and said, Anna. This is a matter for our Dragon Kingdom, and the people of the Dragon Kingdom must resolve it themselves. Heaven moves vigorously, and a gentleman strives for self-improvement. There was persistence and determination in his tone. Chu Yi paused for a moment, then he took a deep breath and continued. You are from the Bear Country, not to mention you are the daughter of the great emperor of the Bear Country. You really shouldn't stay here. Please help me, I will keep it in my heart, thank you, Anna. He said firmly, with a trace of determination in his eyes. Chu Yi, are you going to drive me away? Anna's voice was trembling. Chu Yi replied firmly, that's right. Leave immediately. In fact, I don't like you at all. There was a hint of indifference in his tone. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe.